in Seattle just a couple days ago. An airline mechanic went crazy, and he took a plane. I want to say it's like an 80-passenger plane. Like if I told you like the serial number, nobody would know the fuck I was talking about. But just imagine a plane with like 40 rows of seats, like a big fucking plane, not a giant jetliner, but not a private plane either. And he starts sightseeing, and they've got like an Air Force captain in the air and an F-15 flying behind him, and they got air traffic control trying to talk to him, but they're all terrible negotiators. At one point, he's like, he decides to do a loop, right? He's like they'll be like, 619 are coming out of the northeast. We're gonna need you to make a left-hand turn there. Yeah, that's right. This is Captain Phillips coming on in. Yeah, if you just make that left at the next juncture there. Yep. 317, head northeast, private. And the guy's like, I was really hoping you guys would just want to talk, just have a little, just chat. He's like, I'm thinking about doing a loop here.
You want to watch it?
Yeah. It definitely talks about the loop, because
I haven't.
There's a 3-minute. Do you have the 3-minute version of the best tidbits from air traffic control?
Let's find that.
I'll pull that up.
Yeah, there are some really good quotes in there. Like at one point, they told him, hey, we're trying to make sure you're not causing any disruptions to our actual flight traffic. And he said, oh, yeah, okay, I don't want to screw with that. I'm glad you're not screwing up anyone else's day on account of me.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, I'm not going to ruin it because I just linked it. But
all right, let's queue up.
All right, I'm queued up at 0. Ready?
This has to be one of my favorite videos.
Ready, set, play.
I got a lot of people that care about me, and it's going to disappoint them to hear that I did this. I would like to apologize to each and every one of them. Just a broken guy. Got a few screws loose, I guess. Never really knew it until now.
So calm.
I'm down
so
to 2100. I started like 30-something. 100 pounds of fuel.
Rich, you said you're at 2,100 pounds of fuel left?
Yeah, I don't know what the burnout is like on takeoff, but yeah, it burned quite a bit faster than I expected.
Okay. There is the runway just off your right side in about a mile. Do you see that? That's McCord Field.
Oh man, those guys will rough me up if I tried landing there. I think I might mess something up there too. I wouldn't want to do that. Hopefully, they probably got anti-aircraft.
No, they don't have any of that stuff. We're
It's a
just
military
trying to
base.
find a way for you to land
Air traffic
safely.
is fucking laughing too.
Yeah, not quite ready to bring it down just yet, but holy smokes, I gotta stop looking at the fuel because it's going down quick.
He's so excited.
Okay, Rich, if you could,
If I were in the jury, I'd vote innocent.
and we'll take you down to the southeast, please.
This is probably like jail time for life, huh? I mean, I would hope it is for a guy like me.
And
Spoiler, he dies.
right now he's just flying around.
I like to think he flies this plane for the rest of his life.
He just needs some help controlling his aircraft.
I'm pretty sure that's the case.
Very good.
Nah, I mean, I don't need that much help. I played some video games before. I'd like to figure out how to get this cabin altitude. Like, I know where the box is. I would like to get some, make it pressurized or something, so I'm not so lightheaded. Minimum wage. We'll chalk it up to that. Maybe that'll grease the gears.
What's he talking about?
He's like, oh, this is why I did it because I'm on minimum wage. Let me just try that one out.
True. People's lives are at stake here.
Now, Rich, don't say stuff like that.
Nah, I didn't tell you. I don't want to hear no one. I just want to get away from sweet nothings into my ear.
He's great.
You think if I land this successfully, Alaska will give me a job as a pilot?
I think they would give you a job of doing anything if you could pull this off.
Like, how bored is air traffic right now?
Right?
Nah, I'm a
He
white
told the
guy,
worst
eh?
lie.
I don't know what
If you wanted
white
to
guy.
land,
I guess he's saying
probably
they
the best bet
disadvantage.
is that runway just ahead and to your left.
Oh, this is
Again,
the
that's
last
McCord
tidbit.
Field. If you wanted to try, that might be the best way to set up and see if you can land there. Or just like the pilot suggests, another option would be over Puget Sound into the water.
Dang, did you talk to record yet? Because I don't think I'd be happy with you telling me I could land like that, because I could mess some stuff up.
Well, Rich, I already talked to him, and just like me, what we want to see is you not get hurt or anybody else get
He's
hurt.
afraid to land at the military base.
So like I said, if you want to try to land, that's probably the best place to go.
Hey, I want the coordinates of that orca with the, you know, the mama orca with the baby. I want to go see that guy.
Like, you know, the most fucked up thing is I'm sitting here when this is all unfolding on Twitter, because, like, you know, Twitter, lovely news thing. I'm starting to see all these people taking videos from like 20 seconds ago. It's like, this guy's doing barrel rolls in the air right now. What the fuck's going on? And I'm thinking, like, in the most, like, I can't even explain it another way. Like, he seems like a normal dude. I would go and have a couple beers with this guy. But if it was anybody else in any other situation, this is a catastrophic event. Like, this could be terrible.
Yeah. Like, people were worried for a sec. They're like, is this terrorism? And then people were like, usually terrorists don't do loop-de-loops away from where anyone could get hurt and express explicit intent of not hurting anyone. Like,
yeah, it was. I mean, I guess, you know,
dude,
he
I
died,
just showed the video. He pulled off a barrel roll.
Not a barrel roll.
No, he did. He barrel rolled and loop-de-looped.
Oh, that's
I don't
hilarious.
see a loop. I did see a barrel roll though.
Yeah, I don't
The
think anybody
loop
got
was
the
the
loop.
big one. The loop. He like here's the deal. He's like, I probably need to be at like 6,000 feet to pull off this loop, huh? And they're just like, let's not do that. Like, yeah, 6 ought to do it. And he's
really close.
doing it, and he barely makes it at the bottom. Like, he barely recovers in time to like not hit the ground. And they're like, all right, well, you did that. Congratulations for the loop. Do you want to land it now? And he's like, you know, I was kind of hoping that was going to be it there. I might just go nose down over here somewhere. And they're like, no, hang on a goddamn minute. Like I think he had vomited all over the control panel from the loop.
You can hear him in the clip when he's talking about not ready to set it down yet, because he's like gagging it back. He's like, yeah, I'm not really ready to put it down just yet.
It's like so funny, but also it's such a weird juxtaposition of funny and sad to see someone who knows they're gonna die and they're still making little jokes and quips. And
I thought it was kind of charming how he was concerned about everybody else's well-being. Like, you know, I don't want to put it down there. I could mess up that airport or hit the building or something. How about I just put this down in the water? It sounded like he was concerned for everybody else.
Or when he went far enough away that he thought it wouldn't impact other people's flight schedules.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want any delays, you know?
Yeah, right.
Like, they had already halted all airspace for like 2 hours. It was a non-issue.
Well, he died. He crashed into a small island.
But he wasn't evil.
Straight in.
I guess that's the thing. Like, he did a bad thing, but he didn't seem like
chaotic
an evil guy.
Good. He was chaotic good. You know,
he brightened our days up.
Maybe chaotic neutral.
Was he lawful evil? Right? Did he just have a set of rules that he followed by when he did bad things?
Oh, I think calling him evil would be a stretch. Like, he didn't seem to want to harm anyone, unless it's evil to want to.
He stole a plane.
Yourself.
Like he probably stole
They had plenty.
a $20 million plane, I guess, something like that.
They had plenty of planes.
Yeah, but still, like that, the entire situation, you step back, is super weird, because, to be completely honest, that if it was not some random white guy mechanic, like, this would be such an incredible story. I don't think I've seen it in the news cycle since the day it happened. Right, like beefed up security protocol for making sure that this is not even a possibility, all that stuff. Versus, you know, it's like, oh, it was just some crazy guy who crashed into the island.
Oh, dude, I don't think it has anything to do with him being white. Anybody who's making funny quips up there like this, people are gonna like they'll be drawn to him and endeared.
I'm saying, like,
imagine it was
like
Carl,
prior to all that,
matters.
it's just the whole being able to even get the plane in the air thing.
One
like,
of the challenges.
He was a nobody though, right? Like,
he was a mechanic.
I don't know.
But so one of the things that I take when I worked in IT, security was always a double-edged sword. Like, you could secure, lock it down to the point where nothing could possibly happen, but people could barely do their jobs.
Yeah.
I take that same thing and apply it to this aircraft mechanic. You know, if you were to secure it to the point where a mechanic didn't have access to planes, then they could barely do their jobs. I bet they're just like, what are you going to do? You know?
Yeah, and also this is probably I thought it was funny because as soon as it came out, like, oh, he totally crashed the plane, I saw all of Twitter light up with the quote tweet with Trump saying like, today, great year in aviation, no known casualties from whatever. And it's like, well, that was short lived. Like,
got one.
Got one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked all the pictures of like all the images people made of like his coming off the loop, and it's like motivational things and all just like the see you later space cowboy.
Wow. You see the Facebook photo memes, right? Like people found his Facebook and started putting like him and his a girl or a girlfriend, I don't know the relation, just throwing them into like Hallmark cards like Sword of the Skies Icarus and stuff like that. What a great way for a terrible thing to happen. What a wonderful situation.
He was charming in his death and potential
he kept talking
murder.
about the Olympics, right? He kept talking about flying over to look at the Olympics, and I was a little confused by that. So I did a little. Turns out the Special Olympics are being held up there. I was really hoping that maybe he was going to fly over there, try to get a better look, and they were either going to shoot him down, or he was going to like 9/11 that thing into the Special Olympics.
That would be horrible.
Well, of course it'd be horrible.
Yeah.
But it'd be a spectacle.
It would be a spectacle.
What is the protocol for shooting down planes? Like, in general, because they had the fighter out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they know he's the only one on board. If you have to pull the trigger, like the plane's going to crash somewhere. So you have to make sure it's not on a trajectory. Or I don't even know, like, what if you shoot it down and it hangs a right into a city? Like, who gives the authority to pull the trigger?
Both Bush and Cheney did it in 9/11. But I would think you could authorize it lower than that.
I don't think it's a presidential authorization, but I also don't know enough.
There's probably a set of protocol that once those have been, met, they're free to shoot the thing down.
Man, I kind of wish it would have gone down like that.
The pilot that was in the air was a captain, which I don't know much about that stuff, but it just kind of seemed to me like maybe they put someone up there who had sort of the authority to make a decision.
Yeah. I mean, I just think that would have been a little more interesting.
If they
shot him down?
Yeah, because like that, have we ever shot down somebody over our own airspace?
Funny, you should mention that.
We did a thing 2 weeks ago, maybe, where we each picked a conspiracy theory, and mine was that the plane in Pennsylvania was shot down.
And Woody made a PowerPoint presentation, and it was very compelling.
I'm not on either side of that. Like the story like, oh, they fought back and then they crashed the plane because nobody knew how to fly, whatever it is, right?
Something like
that. You're saying that they scrambled jets and they shot it down.
Well, Tucker, that's the official story.
They definitely scrambled jets and there are jets in the area. That much
can't sound like
isn't under question. Really, the only question is, did they fire or not?
I'd be super inclined to believe they did. I've not seen any evidence on either side, but I like the feel good story. That one's kind of nice. I think
I've never seen any evidence they didn't shoot it.
Oh,
yes, they
did.
But
I have seen evidence the frogs are gay.
I didn't see any intact planes, implying no shooting. That would prove it.
If you saw the PowerPoint, you'd be convinced.
Send it to me in PDF form. I'll check it out later.
Yeah, we bought it.
Yeah, that's a good segment. A little.
It is. Love to do it again. Theory. It's fun. Trying to figure that out.
But before we get that,
I'm not able to share that with you. I would betray your viewers.
Did you guys see this clip going viral on a plane? And
Spirit, maybe?
Basically, it is. We've all sat in planes, me only and Coach, and the last row of the plane, you don't get that little button that lets you go 3 millimeters back to feign, relaxation. And this person in front of this woman in front of this guy pushed hers back because she's in the second to last row, and he is not having it. He is not a fan. And so let's watch and see how he responds to this. And we got a lot of different takes on Twitter. A lot of different people saying that what she's doing is rude, what he's doing is rude. And I want to get all of our takes after we watch this 30-second video. You guys ready?
That too. I want to. It looks like there's some reading up top. Do we need to tell him? No, you just did. Okay.
Oh yeah, that was just what it was.
All right. 1 second. I'm the slowest. Ready?
Yeah.
Ready, set, play.
You guys just bouncing the back of her seat over and over and over.
Because she's leaning back.
Yeah.
All right. The first thing I'm saying is, if I'm the woman at this point, forget the initial decision to lean back. Once I've leaned back, if he's doing this, I'm staying lean back for the rest of the fucking trip if it takes it that long.
She's on your team with that one.
He's watching a movie while he's poking her seat.
Wow.
It's pretty funny.
It is funny.
Yeah, just fucking with her.
So I don't fucking recline my chair ever in airplanes unless there's no one behind me. Period. Because I think it's because I'm a 6'2" guy. I'm fairly big. I fly coach everywhere because I have no fucking money, and that is not a pleasant situation to be in when someone drops the fucking chair on me. So that's the first thing, right? Okay. So I don't do it to anyone else. But if I did put my chair back and some guy thought it was like fucking, this was the time to just be a fucking dick about it but being passive aggressive, not being like, hey man, look, I know you just put your chair back and you want to sleep, and I understand, but I can't move back here. I'm a big guy too. Would you mind putting that up? He just didn't acknowledge me at all and just started doing this. Fuck him. At that point, it's on, right? Like at that point, like, all right, well, we have a problem, and I'm not going to be the person to just like bow out of that from my perspective.
Okay. Where are you guys coming down, Woody?
So I fly mostly first class. So I mentioned that because like I feel like I'm an impartial observer, right? This is not I'm not in this. I think that if the chair leans back, it's okay to lean the chair back. Like those are the rules in this game. It's like saying you're not allowed to use the M16 because that gun is good at COD. No, the M16's in the game. Use the M4 if you want to. It's allowed. They put it in the game. The seats recline. You're allowed to recline your seat. That's my take on it.
Yeah. I fly a lot of first class, but occasionally, like especially if it's a really short flight, it just doesn't make sense to pay $420 to go.
We're not offered.
Yeah. And I have a lot of I like accruing miles but like if I'm flying cross country, I always go first class. Like if I'm going to Seattle, I'm not sitting in that little fucking seat next to two degenerates who couldn't afford the first class seat. They're smelly and
maybe I'll make that one.
They sit there meditating. You know the type.
Yeah. Trying to take up as little space as possible so they don't get the coronavirus.
You come back and sit next to me, Kyle, and I'm like, would you like to talk about semen retention? I haven't came in 6 months, but I think this flight might be my undoing. If it looks like I caught a ghost and a bunch of ectoplasm, just know that I decided to bust over the Atlantic.
So I think it's definitely fine to recline in first class because you just have a lot more room separating you. My favorite seat to get in first class is the front seat, so that there's no seat in front of me. There is a wall, and the wall has the TV on it. Because you've got like I'm 6'1" or so, maybe a little more. I'm not as tall as Filthy, but I'm taller than Woody, so somewhere in that range. And I can stick my legs straight out, like, and not touch the fucking wall on a Delta first class flight.
See, where I am at coach, I can sit upright like this, and my knees touch the front seat every single fucking time.
I'm so close. Yeah,
and when they recline on me, well, now we're talking like I can, if I wish to, I could munch on their hair.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like
easy there, Joe Biden.
And your little what do you call the little tray table? Like the tray table, all of a sudden it's like dangerously close to hitting your dick. Like it's come down. So when someone reclines on me, I immediately have to recline myself to give myself that extra room. That's the kind of the way I view it. And the guy in the back is just fucked.
Yeah.
But I always recline no matter what. I try to get it early. I
can't sleep on planes anyway, so like part of me is like selfish about the fact I'm being like not passing that shit on because I can't sleep on them anyways. I never get comfortable enough to sleep. Even like the very long flights, like I get like very small snatches of like half hour fucking interrupted kind of shit forever. So like leaning back doesn't make that better. It's still super uncomfortable. So if I'm going to fuck someone else's flight up, it feels bad.
You need an extra large stiff pillow, and I don't mean a flight pillow. I mean the one off your fucking bed. I take that thing and I do it in half, and like my head goes like this much, and it's in the pillow hard. Like if I have to like crane my neck all the way to the side, that's uncomfortable. But if I've got
I might try that. I'm going
pillow,
to TwitchCon Europe this year, so I'm flying across the Atlantic in fucking coach. So I'll see. I've got to try something because I'm not going to get any sleep otherwise.
You've flown. You've been international before, right?
Yeah.
Coach is way better.
That's a ridiculous pillow. But what I saw Woody react when I said I like to do it early. What I mean is like, they don't usually let you take off with your seat reclined, but I test them every time. As soon as I get in the seat, I recline that bitch, because I think the worst thing about the person in front of you reclining their seat is you start out at this much room, and then suddenly it's diminished. It's like if you didn't know that there was an option to have 3 more inches, you never knew you lost it. But if suddenly you're like, all right, coach ain't so bad. Everybody complains and oh God, I had $350. Why have I done this to myself?
In my head, the dream is this: Kyle and his seatmate lean back early, and they never even notice their lean back. It only goes like 1.5 inches. Like, it doesn't do shit.
Yeah.
Right. So maybe they think that's normal.
Changed. That wasn't always that short. That used to be bigger. I remember that being more of an incline than it is now.
That's what I hope. I hope the person behind me doesn't realize that I have inconvenienced them for a slight.
What about the back row? Okay, but now let's talk about this. So maybe you're there all the way up until the second to last seat and the last seat. What do you do with that guy? Is the last seat just cheaper? Did you pay for it? Did you build that?
I think it has the advantage of being able to smell the bathroom. You know, and then the other seat.
I've never had.
I'm fine with sitting on wings. I fucking hate sitting near the bathroom.
That's the worst.
If we're wrapping this up, I think this dude is definitely the asshole in this situation. I've only ever ridden in coach. I've never ridden in first class. Filthy style on the same team there, brother. But
yeah, it's great to be poor.
I never recline because I think it's fucking rude. But if someone reclines on me, I'm not going to be poking them, waiting for an air marshal to come over and tell me to settle down. I'm going to be arrested. So no, that's not going to happen. So,
but I have turned around when like I get kids incessantly kicking my fucking seat, or like there was a guy ahead of me at one point who was like, he was reclining, and I think I had like a drink and a laptop or something.
Oh, yeah.
But he was like alternating how he was reclining rapidly. So like jerks up, drink almost.
It's not a rocking chair, you cuck.
Comes back down. I know, right? You're like, all right, look.
Hipping on the button.
Like, I wasn't gonna say anything with you leaning back. That's totally your right. Like, I don't think it's very fucking cool, but like, so be it. But like, if you're fucking letting that shit up and then putting it down again and up again, there's a person behind you who uses the fucking back of that chair. And like, yeah, I get it. You don't owe me anything, and like, but still, try not to be a shitty human being just because you can.
Question. All right, so let's say Filthy's in front of me. I have my tray table down. It seems like even if he leans back, the angle of my tray table stays level. Is that true?
Mm-hmm.
They have some sort of tractor front end loader geometry going on in there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
The biggest inconvenience in first class when someone reclines on you is your TV is now at a slightly different angle. But they rotate, so it's fine.
God, I hate the TVs. I turn that shit off, and I'm so angry that they come back on repeatedly. They come back on for all of the in-flight announcements. They come back on for all of the like safety announcements.
I like the TV. It really helps pass the time.
It passes the time so well.
It's the way they just beam ads into you. I think is ridiculous. You have to listen to ads when you're on the plane in the first place. I paid for
Xbox again.
What's again?
It's like I'm playing Xbox again.
Is the Xbox give ads? I don't even know.
Yeah. Like you.
Oh my God.
You buy a $500 console. You pay $15 a month. Then there's ads all over it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's insane. That's insane to me. Like I don't want them to repeatedly try to sell me fucking miles on the plane as I'm on there. I've already paid for everything. Like,
I don't mind that. I'll tell you what I do hate. Whenever I'm in Vegas and I get in a taxi and they're playing fucking ads for Jimmy Kimmel or some shit right there in my goddamn face when I'm in the back of a taxi.
But
maybe this is a thing nobody has any experience with.
I don't take taxis much. But
I just Uber.
In the plane, I usually use my laptop. That's where my entertainment comes from. I'll download a movie or something in advance and be prepared.
I don't watch a lot of cable, so I actually watch the cable when I'm on the plane a lot. So I maybe watch a movie and then switch over to some CNN or some Fox News or.
I'm all about the free movies. I don't want to watch the fucking news on a plane.
Movies on a plane fucking suck though.
Yep.
It's got to be there's a very specific kind of movie that I'm okay with watching on a plane.
But only I reacted to this. Who's wrong from the rest of your all's perspective?
Oh, well, that guy probably should have asked politely. If we're assuming that there hasn't already,
he probably should have just paid for an upgrade to first class, Kyle. Really?
I mean, yeah. Honestly, like if you didn't want that to be the case, then maybe pony up the extra $300 or $400.
I feel like I reacted. The guy's wrong. The seat leans back. You're allowed to lean it back.
300 or 400 is a nice.
What if they had an
condition.
altercation? I think he's wrong too for like doing that, like he's doing that. Yeah. When I first watched this video a day or so ago, I thought he's making her think the plane's bumpy. That's hilarious. And then that would actually be funny. And she was like, "I've never been on a flight like this before. This is."
C-34J, you're in for a bit of turbulence.
And then I realized
here's a flight-related "Am I the asshole?" If I am in the window in a 3-person row, and the person in the
which, by the way, fuck them for making 3-person rows.
As long as I don't get stuck in the middle, I don't mind. But I'm in the fucking window. Guy in the aisle, passed out, been asleep the whole flight. Clearly not a little, just zonked. Probably drank half a bottle of NyQuil before he hopped on.
Yep.
They come by and they ask who wants pretzels.
Sure.
And I say he wants some too.
Okay.
And then I eat both of our pretzels. Am I the asshole? If so, I didn't do this on my most recent flight.
There should be an "Am I a Genius"
no
subreddit.
victim to that, though.
Am I a genius? Actually, I'll have the pretzels, and this gentleman loves shortbread. So.
Taylor, there's no victim.
Maniac, are you?
No one suffered, right? He's asleep. You got
I just
pretzels.
got 2 snacks.
Yeah, no one suffered.
I got 2 snacks. Yeah.
That's a win-win.
How about this? Am I the asshole? I've told this story before, but we were outside a motel, all hanging out in this gazebo, and we just had asked, each other, like, hey, I'm hungry. Are you hungry? Yeah, I'm hungry too. What do we want to do? The Domino's guy pulls up at that very moment to deliver a pizza to one of the rooms.
Yes,
and I go,
you're an asshole.
Right over here, my friend. And I purchased someone else's pizza and Mountain Dew, like 2 liters, for my group of people, and it was enough for all of us. There was maybe 4 or 5 of us, and here we go, 2 large pizzas and like 2-liter sodas.
That is such a dick move, dude.
Right? Like, there's no way to sugarcoat that. That's a dick move.
I would have come out.
I know it's a dick move. That's
furious if I saw some random fuck buying my pizza.
There should be a malevolent genius subreddit.
Yeah.
The best part of that is like, think about what happened next, and then what happened after that.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're going to call Domino's and be like,
"Where's my fucking
dude,
pizza?
Where is my pizza?" And they're going to be like, "Larry, did you take that pizza up to the Motel 6? Yeah, they tipped good. We already brought you your damn pizza. Stop messing with me." They're going to call back and be so fierce. Well, we'll send you some more pizza. What do you want? The pizza man came back with more pizza. And I was this fucking close to being like,
a great story if you bought that again.
Let's double up, bro.
I'm walking around the lobby, sauce on your face, belly full, a 2-liter in hand.
Maybe you throw some pizza out in front of the people waiting.
Start feeding it to birds.
As the guy's watching, oh, this is far too much pizza.
and wondering if they are going to put it together because they didn't seem like the brightest bunch. Look at them. They got their pizza. What the fuck?
What kind of pizza did you get? Well, what kind of pizza did you get?
Pepperoni and banana peppers? Oh, okay. And then they just start beating the shit out of us. My group was a scary group. It wouldn't have gone down like that. But in any case, I knew we were the asshole. But it just seemed like I just didn't care. I just wanted that pizza.
Yeah.
We see my video.
You guys were risky.
Yeah, I love a video. Dude, I've seen this. Yeah. This is incredibly frustrating.
Which is this the one with the pillow or the one after?
After.
It's the most recent one.
Gotcha.
It's 28 seconds and it's too long. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Yep.
Ready, set, play. There's turbulence on this flight.
Doesn't look like very bad turbulence.
No.
I'd have been laughing.
Me too. Spoiler alert, she's coming right now.
Yeah, right.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Do they have a brig?
I like turbulence on planes. It's interesting.
They need a brig.
Do they have anything? Do they have a place where they put you if you're being a bit of a rapscallion?
Whichever lavatory smells more.
They put you in one of those fold down seats and fucking zip tie yourself.
It's the last row.
Oh,
you right can't lean back. The fucking foul smelling fucking toilets. You can't lean back, and it's guaranteed that someone is max recline right in fucking front of you.
See, that's where you want to put them. Kyle's idea of getting a full reclining, basically bed, you're going to get a lot of people misbehaving just for that. Yeah, probably.
That's how Kitty's flight was. She flew to back to England a month or so ago, and she got the bed.
Nice.
Keyboard.
Dude, so here I have an am I the asshole story, right? I need some help with this. And I will preface it by saying I might be the asshole because this has happened to me twice now, right?
Or you tell us the story on whether you're the asshole or not.
What's that? I didn't hear his words.
Can we take bets on whether we think going
go ahead.
I'm gonna bet anything that Woody's the asshole, because going into something, if you're already prefacing it that you might be the asshole, you're probably the asshole.
Then you might be the asshole.
And it's only indicative if you're asking a question, if you're an asshole, that you kind of know you're an asshole.
I'm gonna say that Woody is an asshole, but only in he's being a retaliatory asshole. Like someone else was an asshole first, and because of that, Woody became an asshole. So I vote double assholes.
PJ?
You guys are both bullies. Let me just say that right now. I think Woody's a very kind guy in most situations, but in this one, I think he might end up being the a-hole, bro.
All right. So you'll tell me when the story's done, and I will do my best to tell it without bias. So I messed up the wrong camera. Anyway, back on topic. We're in the airplane, and I have the middle seat. I'm not sitting next to Hope. She's behind me. And this guy comes in. I don't know where. He's like Colombian or something. He's got some string, like 1 centimeter thick braided headband on and long, floppy, like Quibblecop hair. And
oh, you're the good guy then in this one.
Classic Colombians.
Colombian.
Yeah, he's like Colombian
Best
or something.
friend is Colombian.
Anyway, I'm in the middle seat, and I have my arms on the armrests, but only like the back fifth of it. Like I'm intentionally not taking all the armrest. And he comes down and he pulls this like power play move where he like leans his shoulder into me, bumps my whole arm off, and puts his arm on the armrest. He has taken the spot that I previously had.
I want a quick fact and honesty check. You said you were taking up 1/5 of the armrests. I don't see how that's possible unless you were sitting like this.
That is exactly how I was sitting. And I left like 80%. The front, in front of me.
80% checks out. All right, continue.
Yeah. So, so anyway, and I'm only, like, my arm is in. I might have a book or something, but I'm just barely touching the back of it. And he pushes my arm off the armrest, but not with just his elbow. It's a whole shoulder kind of like, that he leans over to me, takes like, 10% of my chair temporarily, and then goes back. And now suddenly, as the tide sweeps into the ocean, he's got the armrest. He has full possession of it. And I'm like...
he came in, took a little bit of Poland, and at the end of the war left and acted like you wouldn't know. You didn't go back to where he started.
Right. And so in retaliation, what did you do? Did you bite his ear?
I'll tell you where we're headed with this.
Fingers in the nose.
I am at first like shocked by this move. And I'm burning in my head, like, does he know what he just did? Is this an intentional move from
a trained move.
Start? Yeah.
Sure.
And
I respect that.
So anyway, he leans forward. He wants to put his bag under the seat in front of him or something like that.
No.
So he's given up possession of the armrest again.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So I reclaim it while he's gone, right? And now, again, just back 20%, and I'm there. But this time, I'm fucking locked, right? Like, I'm like, it is going to take like 2 to 3. Yeah. It's going to take like 200 pounds of pressure to move my elbow 1 goddamn inch because I have this thing. Like, I am nobody's fucking victim, and certainly not this Colombian douchebag. So
you're not even relaxing on the armrests. These are just spite.
Yeah.
He's like Samson trying to push the temple down.
Just fucking, I'm locked in and whatever. So he comes back and he tries his move again, but this time his move fails, right? It's not going anywhere. And it's like more than one. It's like he's up against a fucking marble column at this point. There's no moving this elbow. And then he starts talking to me about it. He's like, "Hey, can you move your elbow?"
Wait, how did he sound?
You want me to do a Colombian? It was like, hey,
you want to move your elbow? And
perfect. Oh, hey, you got me moving this elbow. I have a bagel shop to get home to.
I don't know what I got going on. He's like Bane. So anyway, he asked me to move my elbow, and I'm like, I'm only taking the very back of the armrest. You can have all the front. I'm trying to share it, but that's where we are. And he goes, hey, I'll tell you what. Why don't you take the front and I'll take the back? And I said, because I was here first. And he goes, what is this, high school? Like, because you here first, that's your rules, right? And he's trying to make me feel like a dick, but I don't know what his rule is at all. You know, I'm taking it because I'm there first, admittedly, perhaps immature for someone as old as me, but, you know.
How old is this gentleman?
I'm going to call him 35.
Still an adult, okay.
Yeah, so, anyway, like, his reasoning, I guess, is just, I deserve the shit you have. Right? You know, my reasoning, I'll admit, not the soundest, most mature, I was here first, but what's his? I mean, why does
socialist?
He wants to redistribute that armrest.
Right.
And guess what? He gets the back part.
And you know, truth, front, back, I didn't really care. What I did care about is this fuck's opening move was pushing me off the armrest altogether. Like that is not allowed.
What did they call it when Russia went into Ukraine and just kind of took it? What do they call
annexation?
And he was going to annex your fucking armrest.
Yeah, not on my watch, bitch. So,
you're not Woody's gamer tag.
Damn straight I am. So anyway, he's like, "What is this, high school?" And I'm like, "But why would the armrest be yours? I'm giving you the front. I'm on the back. You know, what do you want?" He wants to split the armrest down the middle, right? But I think what he really wants is just where my arm was, like, you know, and I'm
nobody
like,
wants the front half of an armrest.
Dude, the armrest is an inch thick. Right? I don't understand how you can even share it.
You should just and put your arm around him. just put your arm around him like he's a date. Like yeah, this is much better. Come here. Like they pulled him pretty close.
So anyway, he says that we should both split the armrest along the side. Oh, this is a good part. So he says, this is not my same flight. This is not my first flight. That's what he tells me. And I told him, I'm a pilot, which isn't true. Right? But
whoa, this took a turn. Okay.
It's gonna be true soon though with your little weird chair.
It'll barely be true. I'll be some sort of lawn chair aviator. But
I'm a pilot. Well, you're sitting in the wrong chair, sir.
Right? But I wanted to somehow I wanted to take back this isn't his height. And in my head, there was this whirlwind of like, dude, if you're bragging about how many times you've flown, probably less than me. When you get to the stage where you'd rather not fucking fly at all, you're on my level, when he's like, I've flown before. Well, that's quite the accomplishment, you fucking Colombian drug dealing douchebag dickwad. Like, I'm not impressed with the fact that he had flown before and thought that he perhaps knew the rules of armrest etiquette better than I did. So, with that, somehow he got into, he's like, you know what? You can have the armrest all flight long. You can have the entire armrest, and I won't touch it at all. And I'm like, I'm not trying to be because at this point I no longer feel bullied. And I said, I'm not trying to be a jerk here. Like, I'm happy to share the armrest.
What was the tone of you saying this? Were you like, hey, this isn't over. Look at me when I'm talking to you.
No, it wasn't like that. As soon as he said,
trying to walk away, and Woody was dragging him down.
Nah. Give me those nuts. Get the fuck over here.
When he said, take the whole armrest the whole time, I don't care. I was like, well, I'm not trying to be the bad guy. I'm not trying to be the bad guy here. You pushed me off the armrest. You tried to force it from me, and that wasn't happening. And
I don't like it because he gave you the armrest, but you kept the conversation going. You should. Now it's like a 17th century cotillion where it's like, oh, you have it. Oh, I shan't.
Pretty much. So we somehow agreed to share the armrest, and in reality, I was like, I think I took way back, so maybe I lowered it to 5% or 10% of the very the back inch. My arm still existed there, but he was able to have what you might consider the back too.
Still a statistically significant portion of the arm.
And then throughout most of the flight, it seemed like he stopped caring about the armrest. He didn't really use it, and he was in the aisle. I couldn't go anywhere else. I was in the middle seat,
Middle seat gets both. And
some people, I've heard
the
that
other two
argument
share
before.
one. That's how it works.
Yeah, middle seat, because the middle seat has nothing else going for it.
Exactly. Everybody else has a little something extra. In the aisle, you can get out there on the window. You can lay your head down. On my last flight, I had the window, and I was being real careful to stay off this lady's armrest. And she was like, "You can have the armrest." And I was like, "Really? Thank you." like I really mean, I was like, "That's nice of you, because it's yours if you want it." She's like, "Oh no," and like I would try to like move out of her way. She's like, "Take it, get in there."
All right, so you've heard the whole story, and I've tried to tell it as unbiased as I. Am I the asshole in this thing? Because it worries me a little bit that I've been in this situation twice. I am the asshole. I didn't see that coming.
No, it was no, of course not. Yeah, you're totally in the clear on this. I think you knew you were in the clear, surely, because the guy's like shoving you around, and all you really did was like hold your ground the next time it came around. And you know, he was he's like, "What is this, high school?" You should have been like, "Yeah, you want a swirly, you fucker?" Like, I'll take
dude. That lines like that ran in my head afterwards. Did you get your ass kicked a lot in high school? Because then, yes, this is like high school.
You're like pulling a George Costanza. You're like, "Yeah, well, I slept with your wife, pilot, doctor."
Well, I just got off the phone with the jerk store, and they're a lot of you.
But yeah, no, I actually was, because the fact that this has happened to me twice now makes me feel like, you know, am I doing something here? What?
Just it's always Frank's alter ego is Mantis Toboggan, and he claimed to be a doctor and a pilot on the flight. So that
I think that I was going into it thinking you were going to be way more of the asshole in it, but you get a huge amount of leeway for being in that middle seat in coach, you know, because I
ain't no Casey Neistat.
The aisle more than the middle, but I know most people like the aisle and the window more than the middle.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But,
they're definitely superior.
Need some perk to the middle, and so it's understandable that you would take both armrests.
Yeah, the middle gets nothing. Like, for one thing, like, you're squished between two people, right? Like,
lean anywhere either.
You can't lean. You've got to stay straight up and down. You can't even really stretch. You
have to do that bullshit where, like, you know how your Delta chair, you can hit that button and it goes back 8/16 or half shorter. Like, and then you have to like basically lean back, hope that one of the people next to you hasn't leaned back. So there's a small little jut out where there is. You haven't back yet, and you just kind of. Like a more precarious sleeping surface than when Frodo and Sam are climbing up Minas Morgul there, trying not to fall, and you're always just, oh fuck, okay. But then, and then God forbid the person next to you lean back.
Dude, United has new seats, so I don't know. Both of the flights that we had, the seats were only like 3 inches thick, and it's made a huge impact on the legroom. Like, I don't like United. This is not an endorsement, but I'm used to plane seats being like a good 8 to 11 inches thick almost, right? Like, they're big padded things. These were narrow little like race car seats or something.
This doesn't sound like a good thing to me. I'm sorry.
I strongly approved of it. Yeah, I didn't feel like I was missing padding at all, and I definitely.
Flight Lieutenant Mugumbo, who created that helicopter. Flight Lieutenant
Mugumbe. Honestly, like, this would be a lot more impressive invention from him instead of like welding heavy steel plates together onto a shopping cart frame.
I love it was like a shopping cart, some stolen street signs, and a license plate. And he made something plane shaped.
And you have flown this up before, haven't you? And he's like, yes, we have done this up before. So basically, what we're talking about, Sarge, is that there's this guy in Zimbabwe from many, many years ago who claimed to have a functional helicopter. And then, like, when the news came, it's so obviously like a bunch of welded heavy iron plates, like that would go in a tank. And then like a terrible little wind rotor. There's no window in the front. And he just keeps lying. And I think, Kyle, you've watched the video too. Do you think that reporter is fucking with him?
Yes,
the whole time?
100,000%. First of all, there's no way someone who is a real journalist and they see this guy and they're like, this guy knows his business. This guy has clearly invented a helicopter in Zimbabwe. Like, he's wearing a bicycle helmet with he's painted that red shit on.
He just got shot out of a cannon.
Yeah, he looks like this guy gets shot out of a cannon.
and this guy's just, and like the reporter's like, and you tell us you've brought this up before. He's like, yes, we have brought this up before and flown like 10 feet in the air for a distance of 6 feet. And it was like, there is no way you've done this. And there's like other people in Zimbabwe standing around. And like, that guy is trolling him so hard because in the intro of the segment, before you even see this guy, he plays it up like, for so long, Zimbabwe has fallen behind in the world aviation race. And now
we're catching up.
Change. All of this will change with Roberto Magumbe. Let's take a look. And then they get over there and it's just a dirt parking lot.
Those rotors have zero lift capacity. Those 2x4s, like zero.
Facing the wrong way.
In the Opie and Anthony clip, it spins so slow that Jim goes, I could stand on the hood and jump over it. every time it comes, it's like a slow
literally
jump
spinning at like 5 RPM or something like that. Like they're just barely going.
And then it just ends. It's like clear. It doesn't even move forward. There's no. What engine was in there? Fucking like a bunch of car.
There was no engine. There was like no engine.
The same engine Fred Flintstone used.
I think it was literally like rubber bands. So he had to like turn it the opposite direction a bunch of times to wind it up and then let go.
Just so that's how I want to fly.
It's sitting on like a shopping cart's undercarriage.
And you see it. It's like if it did fly and land, everyone involved is dead. Because it's going to hit the ground like a meteor, and that shopping cart is going to come right up into your asshole and tear you apart.
I got to say, it is well made.
It's funny.
Like if you and I set out to make a helicopter in my like shop, even if we had like all the proper tools, like I've got a MIG welder and I got supplies, it wouldn't look like this. That windshield fits.
We should give that a go. That can be the next PKA challenge. Build your own. Build your own helicopter with only tools that Magumbe had access to.
Oh God! Well, that's not fair at all. I gotta use
no, we have to take advantage of your giant.
I love his tools. Dude. Is that not like a great like silly Halloween costume though? Like nobody would get it, but like it would be such an inside joke of a Halloween costume to dress up as Flight Lieutenant Magumbe.
Flight Lieutenant Zibunde. Yeah, and then he would, like that like one person, if you're out at a big party, would be like, Zibunde? You'd be like, yeah, you got it.
I love it. I mean, the blackface is a little much, but I love
it. I would just want to know what's with the red dot on the helmet.
I don't know.
What is it?
Is it a Japan thing?
Yeah, for laser targeting.
I mean, it is, but like, why would he?
He's not in Japan, and Japan is white with the red, not the yellow. And if he's gonna do the dot, he should have got like a round sticker or something because he just painted.
He clearly like.
Yeah, and it was hand painted. It wasn't even stenciled. It's like, this is close enough.
Yeah,
you can see the painting of the red stripes behind him on the left,
and it's clearly brushed.
It's clearly brushed and not carefully.
Oh, not carefully at all. They slapped that on.
I could be wrong. I saw it as
like look at the margins between like the yellow and red stripe on the left, and you can see like brush marks. Like it looks like he painted it like a fucking fence in his yard.
To my eye, he just held the spray paint aerosol can on his forehead and went.
Oh, on his forehead. Yeah, I'm talking about on the chopper.
Yes,
he's got like a yellow stripe between the two reds. Yeah, it's great. It's one of the funniest bits ever.
It's hilarious on O&M.
I think you got to give some credit to this gentleman because clearly he's in on the joke. It's his joke.
Yeah,
it's his joke.
Oh yeah.
And
I just linked the video. We can't watch it on there, but if you go to like 6 minutes, you will see them panning down the length of this, and it is the heaviest metal I've ever seen nailed to even heavier metal. Like it's unbelievable.
Nailed.
Terrible.
And he's written on it with like not stenciling, like who did the electronics, the coach works, the finance, the administration, and it's all him. It's like
who could have financed this? that pedophile Woody was talking to in the 70s. He could have used all his quarters to finance this.
That was probably the 80s.
It's got the names here: the mechanic, the technician, the engineer, the designer, the electronics, the coach.
I'm watching the prop go. It's like it's something from a carnival,
The guy who does sales, simply known as Mayo.
Awful. It's so awful. I just realized the side windows, because it has side windows, are clearly from an automobile. And the best part is they've painted over the glass so it gives no visibility out of it.
Yeah, there's a big.
They thought painting a big eye on the glass would be a good idea.
It's a good move.
Oh, and the report, like this is a comedy bit, dude. This reporter looks like somebody right out of Monty Python's bit. Like he's got He's got a mullet.
Well, he's dressed like a pretend director. He's got the the mullet and the ponytail. He's showing him pictures out of a book of other helicopters that fly.
You know what I'm starting to think? That maybe the reporter is the mastermind, and he just hired this guy to like dress up like this and sit in front of something he made.
Maybe either way, it's so fucking funny.
I'm starting to think because the reporter is so slick with his like little jabs and jokes. I'm thinking he's the mastermind behind this whole thing.
I mean, if this guy, Flight Lieutenant Sibanda, is truly in on it, then he is playing the part to perfection.
If you watch the whole video, they actually have an airplane they built too.
Really?
No.
Oh yeah.
They have an airplane they built with car tires and suspension, and it is special. This is special.
There's a lot of lumber, a lot of heavy lumber involved here. Now, is this guy going to claim that he flew this?
Well, they try to get.
I wouldn't fly on this. Actually, I wouldn't be afraid of flying on this at all.
He's using what they call plastic stuff with plastic things like eyes keep the electronics on board. It's like,
yeah, that's fucking absurd. But you know what? I couldn't build a helicopter. I've never tried, but I couldn't.
Yeah, I can't prove it. I just know I could come closer.
I know I wouldn't get that deep into building a helicopter before I figured out I didn't know how to build a helicopter.
Yeah.
Every helicopter I've seen, the rotors are like,
on top,
parallel to the ground.
Have you guys seen those videos where the pilots fucking crash planes for suicide? They kill like 200 people with them.
Fuck.
Shit, no, I haven't. Like commercial pilots?
Yeah, there's this one pilot, I forgot where, but he fucking crashed into this mountain with like 250 people on the plane. He was suicidal.
One of the coolest stories ever is this commercial airline pilot who had this scam where he had this huge life insurance policy. I don't remember what was his motivation. He may have been ill or something, but he was the pilot and he was going to take the plane down so that his wife would get the money. But the co-pilots like catch on to this like as he's doing it, and they get into a fucking fight. And it is one of the most brutal fucking hand-to-hand battles for life and death you've ever heard of. He is battering these two, or maybe it's at least two men he's fighting. It might be three, but he has a hammer. And he's clubbing these guys with a hammer, and they eventually get him. They eventually like subdue him and get the plane landed, but they can barely land the plane because he's beaten them so severely with the fucking hammer. Like their injuries were ridiculous. It was like it was awful. Jeez. It was crazy. Yeah, the plane was going up and down because like there's 2 or 3 men in the cockpit fighting with a hammer for life and death. It's wild.
Well, what would you guys do if you're on a plane that was just like the fucking pilot's gone AWOL and he's trying to crash the plane?
There's nothing you can do anymore. That shit's locked.
Speak for yourself. I have a lot of aviation experience.
Woody carries a chute wherever he goes.
I would try and, break through the cabin door. Like, and no one would hold me back. Like all the flight attendants would be like, "Who can pull the harness? We gotta get in there!" Like everyone would be working together, and so you try to do that, and then you'd all just die in abject fear.
Do you don't think if you put like 50 people's weight on that door, it's not going to open?
Hell no!
Can't happen.
No way.
Can't happen. It's it's a corridor. You've been on planes. We all have.
Yeah.
A little corridor, right? Like you get up there. Has anybody here ever?
What if you don't care for the welfare of the people up front? Right, in the same way that like at concerts, fences get pushed over and gates.
There's no leverage. Like they have made those after 9/11. They made those doors so that like human people can't get in them.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah.
Because they look flimsy to me, and I know that on airplanes,
only one way to find out, Woody.
Weight is such a huge concern that like everything on an airplane is as flimsy as it can be, but no flimsier.
I'm afraid to Google.
They made those doors so that people can't get into them.
How to hijack? Yeah, that I like totally. There's 0% chance you're getting through that door.
0% chance.
And like even so, like Kyle said, that narrow corridor, like even if it was like if we could get 10 people on it at once, there's no way. You got what, three abreast at most if you're turned sideways. There's no way.
I mean, how many people could you get on your bedroom door in your home? Right, 3 at best.
Exactly.
Maybe 4 if one crouches.
Like I just found, I think the story you're talking, or at least one story you're talking about, Ice. It was German Wings flight 9525 from 2015, and this guy named, what the fuck was his name? Andreas Lubitz, who had been treated for suicidal tendencies and declared unfit to work by his doctor, intentionally steered the plane into a crash, and 150 people died, no survivors.
Yeah, that's
what a piece of absolute shit. Absolute. That guy didn't commit suicide. He's a mass murderer.
I mean, yeah, why would you need to kill other people along with you? It's some fucked up shit. Exactly.
People like that is why, like, if hell was real, might be all right. Maybe not for eternity, because eternity is forever. But like, how about like, I don't know, 1 billion years?
I looked up the cockpit door thing. Kyle was so right. In my head, I thought they were going to be about as strong as the lavatory doors. Like, I don't know why I thought that, but I thought they'd just be shitty. Dude, everything on airplanes is so shitty. I don't know if you spent time with like GA and stuff, but these doors, they're meant to hold up to gunfire. They're meant to hold up to grenade blasts. They're meant to, what was the other thing? Gunfire, small grenades. Maybe that's all they listed. But yeah, you can't just push it with your shoulder, it appears.
I feel like that's kind of like, I mean, I get it because, 9/11 and everything, but what if one of the pilots go AWOL? They should give like the flight attendants like a fucking fingerprint access or something.
You just have it so the marshal, the marshal, the guy with the gun, and they get so real? Yeah. A lot of, not every flight. They tell you every flight so that you assume every flight, but some flights, I assume, have marshals on there, but that would be a good thing.
If the hostess outside or stewardess or whatever, the air flight attendant could get in, then all you'd have to do is put a knife on her neck and get in. That would be a weak point.
I mean, that's true, but I feel like it's the flight attendant's duty to not comply.
Less than 1% of flights have an air marshal.
I mean, if somebody puts a knife to my neck and I have access to the door, I'm not going to open it because I'm going to die anyways. If I open the fucking door, I'm going to fight. And it's the least I could do. Hopefully some of these fucks on the plane will help me if I have a knife to my neck,
I would hope that, especially now, you'd hope they wouldn't help you.
Well, if they're saying like, we're going to kill him unless you open the cockpit door and then you let us kill everyone. It's like, well, this isn't a very good, this is a terrible deal. It's one of the worst deals.
I mean, yeah, I think I would rather die than be the one who kills everyone.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I feel, and like, so you can become an air marshal, but you have to be between 21 and 37. Kyle, you got to get on it, man.
Wait, to do what?
To be an air marshal.
Air marshal.
You also need to go get a bachelor degree.
Also going to have to get that felony removed.
You know what? That is the. That's true.
That seems like way too easy to become an air marshal.
No, I've heard that the marksmanship requirements for air marshals are out of this world. Now, Kyle's a really good shot. He might be the guy that can do it, but not many people can.
I'd be indiscriminate.
That's a issue too.
I think Kyle would be he'd be like, I'm the air marshal. That's me, everyone.
Yeah, so I hear there's some big dick air marshal on this plane. They're like flashing my gun. I'm like spinning the gun.
You've got like shoulder tassels.
Who it could be.
And a Captain Crunch hat.
Any Terrys come up in here, there's going to be a little bit of a problem.
They make pretty good money. It looks like, I mean, the average one makes $66,000 a year, and the job seems to be going on flights.
Yeah, pretty much. That ammo is fucking
terrible
cool.
job, in my opinion.
I've shot that ammo. It's a lot of fun.
What makes it special?
It disintegrates when it hits something. It doesn't pass through things. It's they take really fine copper powder and denim, like blue jeans are made out of, and then they compress them like crazy fucking hard into a bullet. And then
is it just called frangible ammo?
That's the overarching description of that type of ammo, but that's a very specific kind of frangible ammo that I'm describing. Like
is what you're describing, Kyle? Would that kill you?
Oh yeah. It, worse than kill you. When it hits things, it's just real gross and like dirty.
Okay, but it would kill you on a plane, and it would also prevent him from like missing and.
Nothing prevents you from missing.
Well, I mean, like it would prevent him from missing, like shooting through the window.
It won't go through him. It won't go through him. And if it does go through him, there won't be enough to like pierce the fuselage.
Huh.
They should just give air marshals like a sword.
Ooh.
Because then you don't have to pierce the fuselage, right?
You know exactly who the guy is. He's just wearing like plain clothes and he's got a scimitar on his back.
I mean,
I do want I want the big one in my bag, like fucking Aragorn. Though I want a big boy sword,
like a.
I don't think that'd be a bad idea. Just have him like stand in front of the fucking cockpit door.
Samurai sword and plate mail.
Fuck that!
Yeah, a guy in plate armor who just stands there with his 7-foot tall sword right in front of him.
One of those Gimli style fucking war axes, just a giant double bladed axe, heavy as fuck.
One swing, fucking 6 innocent passengers decapitated.
Like the terrorist keeps ducking, and you keep killing like swaths of people.
So in this over coddled world we're in today, where it seems like
I don't know where this is heading, but
it seems like everybody's just a big pussy who needs to be handheld and treated like there's no. We wouldn't make it through another Great Depression. These Americans, right? Like I feel like we are not hardy.
We need another Great Depression.
Don't go there, okay?
We'll work out for too many
promised land. That shit can't happen anymore. But I'm just saying, if today's Americans had to stand in a bread line, wouldn't fucking work. It wouldn't work. There would be mass hysteria, panic in the streets. It would turn into Fallout 5. Here's an example. All right, this lady tried to bring her emotional support Peacock onto a plane. What? What the fuck is an emotional support Peacock?
I don't know.
What's the image there? She's got a god. How did she get into an airport with a peacock? Is what
it's
I want
on
to know.
the luggage cart.
When did these emotional support animals start coming into play? I've been taking flights now for a few years. I never see them on any of the flights, but I'm always on Delta. Is it on a whole different airline?
I love emotional support animals. I like. If someone brought their emotional support dog on the plane with them, I'd be happy to have that dog around. I emotionally supporting all of us, isn't it?
Yeah, a dog is great. Everybody likes dogs. Peacocks are assholes.
All birds are assholes.
All birds are assholes, but the peacock is especially flamboyant. He is the scum of all birds. Yes, he's the worst of them all.
I feel like you're somehow homophobic birdist.
No.
Sound like one.
Fuck, or there would be more peacocks, right? They're not blowing each other in the park.
Oh my god! If there's a gay bird out there, it's got to be a peacock.
The flamingo.
Okay, I stand corrected. Yeah.
Right.
Oh goodness. Where did this go? All right, but is there like a weight capacity for your emotional support animal that you could bring on a plane? I have no idea. How does that work?
No, you can bring a big ass dog as long as you can get that thing under the seat. I think it's good.
Maybe you buy a seat for your dog.
That'd be nice if they paid for that shit. Because I've sat next to a girl who had a dog on the plane with her, just underneath her chair in front of her. I'm kind of like, what the fuck? I didn't think this was a thing.
Did she take more room than she otherwise would have?
The dog stayed fairly well at her feet. It was a not particularly large dog. It was relatively quiet, but it did bark a little bit from time to time. It's kind of like a particularly loud child, I guess. It's a dog barking in a confined space, and I don't quite understand why it was on the plane to begin with, but.
So we were just talking about this. It seems, here's an article, that Delta is tightening its rules around bringing emotional support animals onto flights.
Good.
Yeah.
They've tightened everything else in their fucking planes. I can barely fit in them anymore.
It's because of, quote, serious safety risks. According to the airline, beginning March 1st, passengers flying with a trained service animal will have to submit a veterinary health form and or immunization records 48 hours before departure.
So
in addition, they require a letter signed by a doctor or a licensed mental health professional. Passengers flying with psychiatric or emotional support animals will need to submit an emotional support psychiatric service animal request form, along with a confirmation of the animal's training form 48 hours before departure. See, this is important and key to this whole thing because I learned when I bought my dog Dak that there is no sort of certification for a service animal You don't have to show any documentation of any kind. At least that was the case then. All you gotta do is slap a sticker on that motherfucker that says service animal, and now you can take him wherever you want. And people can't even ask, like, why do you need a service animal?
It'd be
because
very impolite. Right.
It's discriminatory. You can't ask what's wrong with me.
Do I look normal to you?
Delta says that it has an 84% increase in reported animal incidents since 2016, including urination, defecation, with passengers attempting to fly with comfort turkeys, spiders, snakes, a gliding possum, and last year, a passenger was bit in the face by a 70-pound emotional support dog on a Delta flight.
Jesus Christ. Dude, the emotional gliding possum was my favorite.
That's crazy. That's crazy, huh?
Can you imagine? Like, you got your neck pillow, you got your Beats by Dre on, you're about to put on those blinders and just kind of lean back the 6 inches that your coach chair will lean back, and all of a sudden there's a fucking gliding possum crawling around on you, coming over the seat. Now the lady's trying to corral it, but she's all fucked up. That's why she has an emotional support possum. I mean, there are no normal people who have emotional support gliding possums. Okay, that doesn't exist. That's by definition. If you have an emotional support gliding possum, you're fucked up.
Yeah,
she can't corral that thing.
I mean, forget even all that. Like, forget the reason why they have it. I just think it's ridiculous. I mean, I'm paying however much extra I am to bring baggage on planes these days, right? To have like a fucking, forget checked bag. They've now started charging you for carry-on bags. So I'm in a little tiny, yeah. You do not fly very often, Woody?
I flew first class last time.
Oh, I see.
Jackass. But
first world problems for you, not quite the same.
You get bags in first class.
Yeah, no, I fly a fair amount, and we tend to go pretty cheap with that, especially traveling a lot. And it's you don't get a check bag anymore, don't get a carry-on bag anymore, and there's no friggin' room in there. So like for me, it's like I hate air travel entirely. It's so tiny for me, and it's
Have you ever had to sit next to a fat person?
Yeah. That happens from time to time. That's I guess I'm a little bothered by that, but I'm more bothered by the kind of animal tagged along. If they're going to get to bring their dog and I can't bring my fucking backpack, it seems a little unreasonable to me.
Fat persons don't joy, but the worst person I have found is the 30-year-old guy used to getting his way. Like, that's my least favorite because they only.
What's your problem with us?
I was going to say
you're not sharing or using the armrest appropriately. If you fucking muscle the armrest, if you take the back and I use the front,
I'm complaining about I can't bring the stuff I need to be on this flight whatsoever, let alone do something on the other side. The problem in first class is your armrest isn't quite large enough.
In first class, you get your own armrests. There's no problem there. But if you are in coach class, the worst is the guy who just locks it in. And look, if you're there first, you're there first. I get it. We live in a society. But if you try to muscle me off, it's on. I will fight for what I had. You can't just go nuts with it. It's not fair. You can't.
I never really played arm footsies with my neighbor over an armrest. Is that something that's happened to you? Happened to you a lot. It sounds like
it might be me. It's happened twice. But yeah, 2 times I've had a conversation with the guy about it. Where
how does that go? What does that conversation look like? Because I'm now really curious.
I talked about it on the show before, but I remember one time the guy had his arm and he was taking most of the armrest. All right, fair enough. So I found a way to be comfortable using the front tip of it, but he had both armrests taking both sides for him, and I just felt like he was, I don't know, really claiming his space in too alpha a way, right? I am happy to share. I'm not happy to be your beta. That's my mindset in this thing. And at one point, he was pushing me off. So I waited. I bided my time. And when he was gone, I took the spot that he had vacated, right? So he comes back and starts pushing on me hard. And I didn't budge in the slightest, I stood my ground, and we go, and at one point he's like, "What's wrong with you? What are you doing?" And I was like, the same thing you are. Why is this yours? You're more yours than mine. And
just as us as a clarification, I think this is important to the story too. I assume this is one of these like 3 seats. Where are you? Aisle, window, or center?
So I'm window. And look, I'm well aware of the Jeff. So Jim Jeffries
center
thing, yeah, where he says, the center gets the 2 armrests or whatever. I think this predates that, and also I'm not sure I completely agree. I think that you can split an armrest, that one guy can have like the front or whatever, and that.
Have you ever considered putting your arm on top of his and interlacing your fingers?
Interlace might
no, but I like where you're going with this. Yeah,
that's like the alpha, right? Mm-hmm. Put yours right on top of his, and maybe like
just use it. Forget the armrest. Just put it up and use his thigh.
Reach around under it like you would your wife's hand and take it. Be like,
you'll get the armrest.
Also,
look over and be like, I don't fly much. How about you?
This guy had also man-spreaded well into my area, and again, like it wasn't even about the space, right? Because I think I would be inclined to sort of lean on the window, which was my side. It was more about getting alpha, that this guy was taking the armrest. This guy was taking my leg space. This guy was taking everything he wanted. Fuck that guy. Like I'm more than happy to share with you, but I'm not your beta. That's how this goes down. And I'm such an asshole because I think I was actually willing to fight, when he started talking to me about it, I was like, oh, are you 3 me? I'll 5 you, and there's no limit to this. I'm more than willing to choke your ass out on this plane if that's where we head. That was my mindset at the time.
I'm going to the fly list in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Oh, I know I'd regret it. I know that, but I would not.
Was it right after this that you took up paramotoring? I get my own goddamn seat rest.
Yeah. No, like I said. It's so many things. Like I'm more than willing to go even on like all topics all over the place. That in business, I really like to be the guy that provides 51% of the value. I feel like that's my happy place. That this is a fair deal. But there we are. But for some guy who wants to take over my space, and more than that, like wants to take my elbow and push it off so that he can have that. No, what makes it more yours than mine?
I do kind of agree with that. I feel like the type of what you're talking about is what really triggers my wife as well. My wife is a super sweet girl, like very, very, she's a people pleaser, so she's very good about interacting with people and communicating and whatnot. But things that set her off are like the social norm violations. And I think this is exactly that. We're all in the same shitty plane and the same shitty air travel. And the goal of it is not to make it worse on anybody else. And it certainly isn't to take, 10 things that aren't yours and now make them yours, right? Like it's shared space. You have to give and take on that. So I totally understand that sense of like, it's almost what's the word I'm looking for? Entitlement. Like they feel entitled somehow to a neutral space, and that pisses me off too.
I felt like I was standing up to a bully. Like that's what's happening between my ears.
I think the worst thing as far as flights, I take quite a few of them. As you are, Woody, I'm also in first class. The individuals that feel a need to take their shoes off and not have socks on and their feet start leaning towards my leg, I always shut that down as soon as the individual gets comfortable.
You'll say something?
I shut it down.
You say, put your shoes back on. This is outrageous.
I'm like, my man, you got to move back over to your side.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You can keep your shoes off, but keep them over there to your side. Because everybody has a sense of like leaning towards me. They won't take the armrest. I haven't had that issue yet. But they will lean towards me, so that foot is coming closer. Now we're gonna shut that down.
What would you do if he smelled? Like if this guy smelled so bad that every breath you took, you could smell him, and it was repugnant.
That's a rough space. I mean, usually that flight is full seats, capacity maxed out.
Mm-hmm. What if you notice it as soon as he
might take that L. You might take the L.
You would never bring it to the flight crew's attention.
They smell it too. It's that bad.
This is a hypothetical, but in first class, we smell like roses. This smells slightly of lavender up there.
We were talking about like different levels of wealth a couple days ago, and I thought today there was a perfect example with Mike Tyson beating the shit out of a passenger on a JetBlue flight.
What happened with that?
And somebody was like, "Why is Mike Tyson on a JetBlue flight?" And I'm like, Mike Tyson was broke like 5 years ago. All the money he has came from podcasting and selling weed.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know how much that is. It's a significant amount, but is not private jet money that you bounce around the country in your private jet kind of money. It's not that money for sure. 5 million, 10 million, 15, still not there. So he was on a JetBlue flight, first class. Someone was like, I didn't even know JetBlue had first class.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, apparently they do. And he's got the window seat. It's being filmed from across the aisle. And this guy's boy or whatever is like leaning over Mike's seat, like being very animated. When I say boy, his friend, it's an adult white man. Okay. He's leaning over the seat, being kind of obnoxious, and he won't leave Mike alone. And you can't hear what Mike's saying because Mike's using a normal man voice, indoors. And this other guy's like being so loud that you can hear everything he says, even though he's facing the other way. I thought I kind of registered that as like an idea of what's the volume
saying. Can I interrupt so I understand? Yeah. He's sort of standing up, seated behind Mike Tyson.
Yeah,
and like leaning over at the waist, hovering on top.
Yeah, he's like, and Mike's like looking up, being polite, talking to him for a while. At some point, and the video's like a bit chopped up. At some point, things went awry. And Mike comes over his own seat on top of the man. And I think maybe he's got one arm like against the guy's throat or chest or something, but the other is just throwing these rapid little right hooks. like
oh
one
wow,
after the
look
other.
at that guy.
Such a great face that the guy does after he gets his ass whooped.
Dude, I mean, we're talking about levels of wealth. Mike Tyson just beat the shit out of Elon Musk.
Elon's hair's better than that.
Is it?
I mean, no, he's doing Musk mouth. For sure.
Is that musk mouth?
That pouty musk mouth? Yeah, he does have.
Is that what you call duck lips when a man does it?
Elon Musk has fucking dick sucking lips.
Elon Musk has had so much plastic surgery that he's looking a little weird now. Like if you look at the current,
I need to look at before and after. What are you noticing? Is it a cheek thing?
Well, the hair but what I'm seeing is like weird wrinkles in like his cheeks and jaw. I'm looking for a picture that I think shows it.
Well, I mean, he travels very fast. I understand, and I think maybe you're seeing the effects of the inertia on
It
him.
could be a hyper speed photo of him coming by really
well,
quick.
the guy's always on the move.
Yeah.
See, right there, moving 150 miles per hour.
You can't say that like the hair surgery wasn't a drastic improvement. I mean,
yeah. I'm pro hair surgery.
The rest
you would really
of his
have
face...
to be critiquing him to say that this is a worse look than his younger self.
Oh yeah, I can't tell a difference other than his hair in his face. Honestly, he just looks older. Maybe his nose a little bit.
They made his nose uglier. They got that straightened out for him. He's like, hey, I got a pretty nice nose. What can you do about that? We can ruin it. Give me one of those. Did you see what happened at the Atlanta airport? It was the Atlanta airport where the gun went off, right?
Yeah. Did that guy get away? So the guy had a gun in like security. And then instead of being like, oh, I can't believe I left it there, he grabs the gun, accidentally fires it, runs for it, and gets away.
Yeah.
Get away.
He got away.
Did they ever ID?
He had a gun. What were they going to
do? As far as I can tell, he just accidentally fired the gun to be like, oh, shit, it's in there. He gets it and he runs. They don't know who he was. I guess his bag didn't have any identifying stuff in it.
But you have to get through the scanner guy.
He wasn't through it yet. Oh, I guess I don't know. I'm not sure. But he got the gun and he ran away and he exited the airport grounds. And last I heard, they were trying to ID him. Now there's cameras everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
How could they not ID him? But does anyone have an update to that?
Yeah, I never heard that story. That is wild. He just brandished a gun and then ran away after firing it.
It's wild. The whole thing is wild.
So the TSA wasn't there to tackle him to the ground?
No, not even a little bit.
I don't blame them. They probably don't make enough to tackle someone to the ground with a loaded gun. No one does.
No one does.
Police found the gun. I guess he ditched it.
Probably all
at the airport. Shucks, there's a paywall on this.
He was a felon. Okay.
Oh no.
So he was in real.
Not one of my people.
I feel like with an airport, they could find someone pretty easily.
Is the Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport like the big one, the one you would go to?
Yeah, that's the one.
That's the one. Okay. It was an accidental discharge. Shit, I want more. Oh, They identified him. Kenny Wells, 42 years old.
My man Kenny.
My man Kenny. So
wait,
I guess
isn't that Wings' brother? All them pills that Kenny been banging?
Oh, Jesus.
That's what they always say. Oh, that's funny.
Well, if they haven't caught him by now, they're not going to catch him.
I
they got his name. They're going to get him.
They got his name.
Oh, they got his name. Okay.
If they don't have him already, he's toast. Well, shit, I'm not getting any more details than I already gave.
He's in a lot of trouble. Like I think possession of a firearm by a felon is like...
And like firing it in an airport?
It's like 5 years, maybe 10 years. It's like 5 though, I think for sure. It's not good. But then like the whole like having it in the airport and having it go off. I mean, if he wasn't
allowed to have it.
You're allowed to have it. It's the felon thing. That's what I was about to say. It's like I think he'd be all A-okay. I think like if Taylor did this, he's probably 100% okay. Like maybe you pay a fine for like reckless. I don't know.
In 2014, Georgia passed a law that allowed concealed weapons at airports and areas outside screening checkpoint. So prior to passing through security, you're allowed to carry your concealed carry in Georgia.
Correct. Yeah.
But the felon
I
thing,
wouldn't do it.
It's going to be a problem.
Stupid.
Yeah. Well, eventually you're going to pass security.
Like you're going to throw your gun away.
They're really expensive guns. Like, yeah, you don't want to do that.
Yeah, and there's like I've said this before. This was years and years ago. I went through for a work trip, and I was just had like a backpack, I had my laptop and a few things in, just a day trip. And I got through, and I forgot I'd taken that backpack hunting like months and months prior. And so I had 2 magazines for a handgun with not a gun in there, just the magazines. And like when they went through, they pulled me aside and they're like, "Hey, you can't have this stuff." And like in my head, I'm like, "Oh, I'm in like the most trouble. I broke the rules around the airport with." Sure, there's no gun here. It's just 2 mags full of 9mm ammo. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, what do I do? And she's like, you're going to want to get back in line and just throw both of these into the garbage. And I'm like,
do you know how much ammunition costs, ma'am?
Yeah.
No, thank you. I'll drop.
These are hollow points.
I asked. I was like, so is there a guy or can I leave these here and get them when I come back? I don't want to lose these. And she's like, no, you just have to go back. And then I'm like, as I was walking back, I'm like, so just like in the same one, that guy just threw his fucking Orange Julius in. Okay. Like this is how we're disposing of this according to the
live ammunition.
Yeah.
I used to carry a knife through security so much that I thought you pretty much could. It's a Leatherman. I carry a Leatherman or a multi-tool on me almost all the time, hardly ever without one. And I would just put it in my backpack and have the backpack pass through security. And I must have got through like 12 times in a row. And then when they finally took it, it was like, you're giving me shit about, okay, you can have it. I didn't even consider that trying to get a knife through airport security could get me in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
It was more like, if you're going to be a dick about it, just keep it. And that's not what I said. I was more respectful, but that was my thought. And then I got caught like, I don't know, more often, like 2 times out of 3. And I'm like, well, at this point, I'm just giving away 2 with any leather.
So let's talk about flying and being fat, because that's real amusing. Okay, as since I obviously have had to fly a few times to do appearances at like VidCon, the PlayStation Experience, the Video Game Awards, last year, stuff like that. We're flying more than ever, and I hate it. Obviously, I mean it's unbearable. Airports are too big for me. Obviously, the seats are too small. I have to purchase 2 seats, obviously, so that I'm not making anybody else uncomfortable. It's a pain in the ass. But every time I go through security, I make a TSA agent's life a living hell, because the scanner that they use, they can't see through certain areas of my body, specifically the stomach portion.
Good. So there's a guy in the back at the TSA. Say, God, take it, Captain. We're giving her all she's got.
It's like more. So every time I step out of that X-ray machine, some poor guy has to go digging to look for. I don't know what he's expecting to find. And they always, every time, 99 times
Please
out
tell
of
me
100,
something involving your butthole happens.
It involves my penis every time. They're surprised when they find it. Like they're not expecting one. And then like there's my balls in their hands. And then they, like a couple of guys didn't know what that was. So they really got in there. And then I'm like, do I need to turn my head and cough, dude? Like, what?
You have a small.
What kind of Is this a penis? Yes, it's a penis, man. Is this testicles? Yes. Are you sure it's not a gun, sir? No, I'm pretty sure. I mean, it's fired off a couple times, and then, and then you're in the special room.
This bag seems to be holding more than 3 ounces of fluid.
But every time, man, I come out of that machine and now I just directly apologize to the guy on the other side of the machine. I'm like, I'm real sorry for this, dude. And he's like, oh, don't be. It's not a big deal. You know that guy goes home and just calls his therapist and says, I had to check in another fatty today. You know,
so you need 2 tickets.
Right, I need 2 tickets.
Now, would one first class ticket do the trick?
We got bumped up to first class, and it depends on the size of the plane.
Mm-hmm.
The one time we got bumped up to first class, it was awesome. It was perfectly comfortable. I'm in one seat, my wife's in the other. It's just wonderful. It's beautiful. The other time, the first time I looked at a first class seat, if the plane is pretty small, then it's going to be too narrow, and part of me is going to be in the aisle, and that's going to make it difficult for the stewardess, and I don't want to do that for her. You know, it's bad enough that I'm even on the plane for some people. So I don't want any part of me sticking out in the aisle. I'd rather eat the cost, every time.
So Wings went to the Billionaire Bash, the Billionaire Challenge. I forget what it was called. A couple of years ago, we did this thing and they flew Wings out. Yeah. And he had a terrible flight experience. He hated it. So the plane was full.
Oh,
he got one ticket. He needed 2.
Right.
But he had never flown before. So he didn't know about the whole 2-ticket thing. And the guy next to him gave him a hard time. Now, wasn't completely unjustified, I guess. Right. But whatever he did or said really hurt Wings' feelings. And I remember it. So I was out there with him and stuff. And he wanted to drive home. And he felt super uncomfortable. I think part of it was never having left home before. But he was like, he's like, it's weighing over me. 24/7, I know I have to fly home somehow. I have to get home. This is horrible. Like, it was this miserable thing. And, the flight really took it out of him. He hated it. He full on hated it as much as you can hate something.
He must have if he's considering getting a rental going from LA to South Carolina.
He might not have known the scope of what he was talking about, right?
Maybe not the financial scope, but surely he knows how wide the fucking United States is.
Surely.
I mean, they do have maps.
No, but I mean, in all seriousness,
not in South Carolina.
If you told me that, he didn't really have a grasp on how many hours a drive that was, I'd be like, yeah, that sounds reasonable. I don't think he'd ever left his, town, county, whatever. Like he had never traveled anywhere. He might not really get how far away California is.
It's an undertaking for those of you who are uninitiated. It takes a couple of days. It's awful. It's awful. I've driven, the farthest I've driven is to, I know I've driven to Phoenix, Arizona.
How far is that from you? Is that like 24 hours of driving?
It was broken up across like 3 days because it was kind of a multi-leg trip. We were going to different places and doing different things. But it was like 5 days of total driving, I think. I flew for half of it. Like I flew from Atlanta into Albuquerque, but I drove on the way back, and that was not pleasant.
Furthest I've driven is Michigan. I forget the town exactly, Prince or something. It was right near Kalamazoo. I knew that.
Oh, so you're up in the UP? That's where my wife is from. I love that area.
Is Kalamazoo's not UP?
Is that not? Okay, never mind.
No, it's between.
I don't know the UP that well. I know Escanaba. I know like Gladstone. I know Marquette, but I don't really know.
It's right between
I don't know
Chicago
Central.
and Toledo.
Yeah, I gotcha.
This article, I want to get your guys' thoughts on whether this guy's an asshole, because I've made my decision already.
I've made my decision as well. Go ahead.
Are you going to do a read?
So, no, I'm not going to. I'm just going to describe what he did. So basically, this douche, damn it, gave away my answer. So basically, this guy didn't want to pay $50 to bring his clothes in luggage on a plane, and so he wore like 8 or 10 layers of all his clothes, and then tried to get on the plane. And they said, no, you can't get on the plane because you basically made yourself into a big fat person who's going to take up like 2 seats or whatever, and you've only paid for 1. And he was saying like, oh, that's not fair. You can't do that. That's ridiculous. You said I had to either bring the clothes on or pay the luggage fee, and I wore them all. And it's like, first of all, this is clearly a publicity stunt unless this guy balloons in weight between his current size and 50 pounds heavier by the day. Because whatever fucking pants he pulled on 8th
do not fit.
Oh, that's
those
a good
do
point.
not fit his actual body. He's not going to be able to wear those on his trip. This is a stunt, and this guy wanted to be kicked off a plane so he could like get some Twitter followers. These kind of people, and think of all the man hours and minutes wasted as people were just sitting on this plane trying to go visit family, trying to go to a work trip or whatever, while this smarmy douche giving his like biting his lip, coy look into the camera of like, what are you gonna do?
Are you
Well,
sure
what you could
you're
do is
laying
pay the
this
fucking
out
$50.
with the least bias possible?
No, this is my bias. This is the way I perceive it. So yeah, this guy is a prick. They should have banned him from the airline, and they should have seized 7 layers of his clothes for their trouble.
The bottom 7.
The bottom 7. He's got to go out of there with some giant, like, ill-fitting camp T-shirt and some like parachute pants.
Yo, why you so passionate? Why you so passionate about this guy, man?
Because I can picture myself sitting on the plane adjacent to him and watching someone doing their little joke and looking at everybody else on the plane who's got shit to do, places to go. And it's like, God, it didn't even cross your mind that this little stunt is phenomenally inconsiderate to everyone else who has something to do that day.
How long was the plane delayed?
It's more than any amount of time. It's too long.
So this is why I ask, because I see people on I'm not saying you're this pretentious, but I see people on planes all the time, and like they'll be defrosting the plane, or there's a mechanical issue, they have to gas it or whatever, and it's like a 20-30 minute delay, and people lose their fucking minds and like, this is bullshit. And I'm like, yo, like go build a plane. Like, it's the most convenient way to travel ever, and you're sitting here on your high horse thinking like you can get there faster somewhere. 40 minutes is gonna go by. Like, just sit down and shut the fuck up. Like,
that's different though, because this guy, if
that's why
they're spraying ice off of the plane, I want them to take as much time as they need to make sure the plane is going to be safe in the air. I don't want to be like, oh, just half-ass it, get us up there. Like, that needs to be done. This guy is not serving any purpose. He just threw on a bunch of clothes to get on a Perth.now.
Would you rather sit next? Would you rather have to sit next to this guy or a man who weighed 400 pounds?
This guy.
Oh, this guy.
Yeah, because I don't know what it is about 400-pound people. I just assume they're kind of slimy. Right?
Literally.
Literally. That's all. I'm not talking about personality-wise. I just think if you touch them, they're kind of greasy.
It's both, if we're being fair.
They're very sticky folk.
Right? Right? Like,
they look like if you threw a handful of sand at them, a lot of it would just stick.
Yeah. Like
it
our
would
friend
create like a paste.
Our friend had MRSA in one of his folds, right? That's a cleanliness issue, right?
Really?
Like that. Yeah. I just assume it's a little dirty under there.
The anterior fold on his thorax. Yes.
If you're that big, I think you've got hygiene
If you're
issues,
familiar
too.
with caterpillar anatomy.
It was like the torso version of a labia majora.
He was growing a pussy on his side. A very smelly pussy. When they drained it in the doctor's office, because he vlogged this shit, he's got a camera on him while they're like draining this thing. It smelled so bad they had to open the door.
Yeah. In an operating room.
Yeah.
They had to air it out to the outdoors.
That was good shit, man. That was good
That
shit.
was
I love that
excellent.
video. I watch that every now and then. I feel so much better about myself.
Oh my
That
gosh.
brightens my whole day up. It brightens my whole fucking day up. I'm like, at least one of my flaps wasn't infected. Jeez.
That's like what TLC shows will do for you too. Like, because like all TLC shows seem to be like these shows that are basically gawking at freaks, but they're masquerading around like they're helping people. Like, hey, watch all this whole midget, this little person family go about their business and whatnot. And like they're like, wow, and look at the struggles they face. It's like you just spent 3 minutes trying to look at him get up into a truck. You're gawking. You could have helped if that were a thing.
Building codes make their counters normal people height. And
yes.
Yeah, they struggle.
Taylor, did you hear what Chiz calls wings now?
No, I'm sure it's.
Oh my god! But it's probably not for public. I'm scrolling.
Low blood sugar daddy.
Low blood sugar daddy.
Low blood sugar daddy. Sugar daddy. Because his blood sugar controls his life, as he has said in his streams, and he made it rain on those lady friends of his. Low blood sugar daddy. I really got a kick out of that.
Well, that's an interesting pun. Well done, Chiz.
Yes, well done.
I still feel bad.
No, come on, don't feel bad. We're gonna do wings versus blade later. Just you gotta hang on tight. What are you gonna just fly off the centrifuge?
I'm like a guest that can't keep up with the show at this point.
You see his eyes. You see Woody's eyes. He's like, oh, we're gonna do that.
There was the story about the woman on Spirit Air flight. You hear about that one?
No.
I may have. What happened?
She was going to Vegas. She gets there, and Spirit Air closes the doors like 20 minutes before the plane leaves. You know, it's called boarding and then pushback. You can't jump in while the plane's pushing back. So she thinks since the flight's leaving at noon or whatever, that she could get there at noon. And she started bitching that the door was closed. She just ran onto another plane. She went onto another aircraft that was going to Vegas, took a seat and wouldn't leave. And said, "No, you got," and people were losing their minds.
I wish it was
and
United.
Then the announcement comes. We are asking everyone to deplane at this time. Everyone had to leave the plane. She's laughing at everyone that's walking by. I don't know how she lived. And then they took her off and arrested her. Of course,
United would not have put up with that shit. They drugged the bloody doctor off for holding his ground.
Yeah, exactly. Why? They should have just dragged her off. But she's like, I know your tricks. She was telling
I know your tricks, you goddamn airlines.
I know your tricks. I unbuckled, you dragged me out. I'm not unbuckling my seatbelt. Mm-hmm.
It's like, ma'am, do you realize we're not going to be like rats? She's got us. She knows the unbuckle clause. She must be a sovereign citizen.
Everyone's day got screwed up because she thought it was a taxi and you could jump out of one. If you miss one, you jump in another.
What an asshole. That is so fucking rude.
There's a lot of people entitled, I guess.
Yeah, just to hop on another plane. How did you get on the other plane? You don't have to show your boarding pass. You just sprinted onto it.
It's Spirit Air, you know. Who knows what's going on there?
Both of their employees were already occupied. Yeah, I don't. Never flown Spirit, but I guess I probably won't now. Although, like United, they did that shitty thing to the doctor guy. Again, but I'll still fly United because it's like, if they come to me and go, hey, you did buy that, but we double sold it, you're going to have to get off. I'm not going to be like, harumph. No, I'm not getting. It's like, no, I have no choice. They're not going to take off with me on this.
They're going to give you a fucking voucher.
I would have asked him. Like, I don't think I would have accepted the first no, right? Because I don't. They'd have been like, all right, Woody, we sold you this ticket. We've seated you. Now you're here. You're buckled in. You have to go. The other guy's going to have this seat. And they'd be like, why him? And they'd be like, what makes him better than me? Like, why if you've oversold this seat and two of us have the same seat, and I'm already here, like, why do I have to get up and give him my seat? I would have tried to get something. I don't think I'd just be.
Oh, they're going to give him a voucher.
Get
ticket.
Yeah,
you know, like, but he was like, oh no, got to get back home, pull some teeth. Like, get on the fucking plane. He's the one missing the teeth.
People don't seem to understand
I wonder what
that an aircraft is the furthest thing from a democracy you will ever find. It is a dictatorship.
Yeah.
The pilot is the Fuhrer, and everyone else that works on the plane are his minion and cronies.
That's the fucking SS.
And that's it. And if he says you go, there's no fair. There's no why me. There's no conversation. The pilot says go. That is the closest thing to maritime law. That's what we were talking about before. The captain is the head muckety muck, and you must obey him. Period.
Yeah. I mean, you're right, but I don't like it.
I don't like it.
You don't like it, but like,
that is the game attack. Enjoy your bus trip.
Hop on a Greyhound, asshole.
Whatever happened to the United guy? Maybe is Chiz writing in here? Did they like?
He got paid.
Did he get paid? Did he? Sure if he ended up with like 3.9 million, bust out a tooth.
No, nothing like that. They like thousands of dollars.
Oh, there's always a settlement they're not allowed to talk about. You know.
Yeah.
If it was like $1 million+ United, they could beat me up on a flight.
Oh, absolutely.
I would fight actual fighters for $1 million.
I would even make the same noises that guy did to make sure it got media attention.
All right. So Chiz said they paid him, but it's a private settlement, so the numbers
they never tell you. They don't want you going, wow, that's pretty good. I think I'll do that.
Right?
I want to beat up on a Spirit Airline. I wonder what Spirit Airlines would give you, like 6 bags of nuts, a free taxi ride home, and a fuck you.
Actually get your baggage.
I heard it from an inside source. This guy likes Cheez-Its. Hook him up.
But Woody, if they told you that, you got to go, and even if the answer wasn't to your satisfaction, where they said like, well, he's a rewards member and we give priority to rewards, whatever the fuck it was, you would at that point get up and exit the plane. I'm positive.
Yeah. At some point, and I feel like there'd be a peer pressure too, which you want to say you're invulnerable to, but when the whole plane thinks you're an asshole, it's real tempting to be like, I'd rather be somewhere else. I don't want to be here for the next 2.5 hours on this flight. Like the asshole.
The asshole guy. Wouldn't you be so tempted to turn around and go, I hope this fucker goes down?
You go to actual jail for that.
My bomb's still underneath, bitches.
It'd be the same if someone yelled bomb and you all had to deplane.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll like the little gift I left you on this aircraft.
What I do?
Don't touch me.
Tick tock, tick tock.
That's all you have to say. Hey, cool plug, man. Come to the White House. I don't think that would happen.
You can't fuck around anymore, man.
No.
I wish you could.
On plane, they are. It used to be so fucking. I remember when I was a kid, at least. Like, people went on planes and it was an occasion. Not like, the old DC-9 with the propellers and the suits and ties on everyone. But, like, you respected the fact that you were on this miracle machine and you didn't really fuck around, Now it's just people bare feet on the ceiling. They're fucking, just pigs. No respect for the fact that you're miraculously careening through the air at 500 miles an hour.
Yeah, pay $700 for your ticket, and they give you a little pissy look when you're like, I'll just take the whole can of Diet Coke. And it's like, oh, a whole can, motherfucker. Well, he wants this whole can.
See,
it's like,
that's all about...
a 78-year-old man as a flight attendant. I hope life continues to go bad for you.
That's all about how you request the drink, by the way. You ask for a can of Coke, not a Coke. You ask for a Coke, they're going to pour you a little shot of Coca-Cola in those plastic fucking cups.
Not in first class, but in coach, because I'm not a fancy man like you.
Is that what it's like back there?
That is what it's like. I've never flown first class. I'm not.
Here you are, sir. You may smell this Coca-Cola before we serve it to the first class part. Breathe deep, peasant.
While the bubbles are still going.
Oh, it's effervescent. What if the bubbles touch me?
It tickles my nose. Yeah, if you ask for the can, they keep it. Seems.
Yeah, man. Oh, yeah, fuck that. Since we're on airplane travel, if you think that guy was inappropriate, this young lady.
Wait, an inappropriate lady?
Lady! Now, before we start this, I just want everyone to put yourselves in the position of the unseen man. You'll see him later, but you just hear how he's being spoken to by this woman.
Oh, I've seen this.
I haven't. No, I'm interested though.
Yes.
Yeah,
just
it's
imagine that this is your girlfriend.
It's funny. The first time I ever saw this, the volume was off, and I thought the guy in the foreground was like a little weird and unreasonable. But you watch it with the volume on, and it's a whole different thing. You guys ready?
Yes.
I'm ready.
Ready, set, play.
Shut the fuck up. Yeah, you better believe it. I wear the fucking nuts, nigga, in front of public. You want to fucking try to look at other women, nigga? Now fuck you.
I wear the nuts in public?
And you ain't gonna tell me you looking at other women.
Look at her.
Yeah, I know. I fucking consult the fucking child. There's a little boy right behind you. I already know. Look, I'm not gonna say nothing if you don't say nothing to try to cause a commotion, because he's the fucking problem. You wanna fucking try to fucking...
He looked at another woman?
So shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, that guy in front's a little weird now you mention it. That's the take home, right?
What is the take home?
The guy in front's a little weird looking?
I'm not ever gonna see you again. I swear to God, don't you ever come to my house, nigga. I'll call the police on you. Fuck you. Oh, really? You're going out of control. Nigga, I'll put it right now. You shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Okay.
She hit him.
She hit him.
No.
Hit him again. She's in a giant.
I don't know for fucking years. I'm assaulting you.
Whoa! I think she hit him with a computer. Oh, she hit the stewardess person.
I'm gonna get my purse.
Look at her dictating the terms.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
You wanna say I'm assaulting you?
See, this person, if she got tased and arrested, I'd be all for it.
Fuck you, Memo. Yeah, I'm coming. I'm going over there. You're gonna be charged with assault. Fine, whatever. Oh yeah, Memo.
She's going for him still. She's, oh yeah, Mamo. I ain't done with you yet. You better hope an air marshal up in this bitch.
You're gonna be charged with assault. Yeah, whatever. Lady, I don't think you know. State assault is a pain in the ass. Federal assault is a real pain in the ass.
That's a
yeah.
real...
I have no sympathy for that woman. Not in the least bit.
I wish they had just ejected her from the plane. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna need everybody to buckle up. We're gonna pull a suck the crazy bitch out maneuver. And she's gone. All right.
They were on the ground that whole time, right? We're on the same page there.
It's hard. I think so. Yeah.
I think if you do that in the air, that's like 10 times as bad as an offense, right? Like they're landing the plane or like turning it around for that shit.
I don't know if they draw any lines. Oh, they would definitely land. Yeah. Oh, like maybe it would escalate things just
Do you
because
realize
of the
how
hassle.
fucked you are if you make a plane land because you're
They might charge you
misbehaving?
for the fuel. If they charge you for that fucking fuel,
that would cost tens of thousands.
yeah, you'd be on the hook for like $30,000-$40,000 worth of fucking jet fuel. Yeah,
And if you have video of that, you're never like no one is ever on your side after that display.
no, that's
No one's like, she's totally legitimately.
I'm kind of on her side.
What you don't understand, Your Honor, is he was looking at other bitches.
And that stewardess clearly just instigating.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she was over there right in her face, right there, right at the commotion. She should have just backed off.
She made the offer. I won't say nothing if you don't say nothing. Stewardess couldn't leave good enough alone.
That's right. Fair offer.
It's a fair offer. I hate the negotiating positions of her and the country girl. The listen, you gotta sign this. I won't. You gotta get out of your car. I will not. Bitch.
It's actually a little amusing because it's a little bit like streaming because this happens sometimes in stream. Like some fucking troll says something like that, and it's like I don't think you understand the position. I have all of the moderating tools. It's literally a channel built around me, and I have no repercussions to doing whatever I want to you, saying, banning, whatever. And it always blows my mind when I get the argument on that. I'm just like, the power differential here is like the most extreme it can be in an online community here. You can't actually keep going here. And it's like these people are not realizing the situation there. The power differential as a passenger on this plane where she's having a like domestic dispute with her partner in the middle of fucking public here with a stewardess telling her to stop. There's no recourse here. It's not like she's close to like even on here and she can dictate terms. She's fucked. Like it just blows my mind sometimes.
But it's fun. I want to know what happens to her.
I assume they said sit back in her seat. She did. They flew up a little bit and then ejected her.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, that's probably what happened.
Like about halfway.
Yeah. I want it to be like that scene from Indiana Jones in The Last Crusade where he fucking punches the Nazi and throws him out of the Zeppelin, and everybody's like, "What the fuck?" And he goes, "No ticket." Everybody's like produces their tickets real quickly. This week, actually, yes, today I read about a way more embarrassing poop experience. So
really?
There was a flight.
This poor man.
There was a Delta flight, I think, to Barcelona, maybe out of Atlanta. In any case, someone shit themselves in their seat, it seems, and then got up and thought, oh, let me make it to the bathroom, and continued to shit themselves as they ran the length of the aircraft. It's a big boy aircraft, by the way. We're going to Italy or whatever, Barcelona, Spain. It's just in a small plane. So this person's jogging for a while, shitting as they go.
Are
everywhere.
they fat? Oh.
The quote was, the passenger, quote, had diarrhea throughout the aircraft, which created a biohazard and a threat to the passenger's health. So they turned around 2 hours into the flight, came back, and they had to clean the aircraft, everybody to get off, new plane for everybody. Who knows what happened to the flight? But here's
dude, I am opening that door and jumping out. I'm just
so embarrassing.
Just leave. Just gonna
for 2 hours after the incident. Yeah, at some point the captain goes, it turns out one of y'all shit themselves back there. We're going to be heading on back to Atlanta. How do you say, sorry, I shit myself in Spanish? Am I right? All right.
That's something none of you are going to need to know today.
And then everybody who's already smelling your shit and is like freaked out because you scared their kids while you shit the plane and everybody freaked out. Now they're looking at you like, you've ruined my vacation. I have exactly 8 days off from work. You know, who knows?
Maybe so. But when I turn the plane around, I feel like I got my money's worth.
How many more hours would you have to sit in a shit-laden plane? Like
it must have happened right at the start of the flight. Because if it's like a 6-hour flight and I'm 2 hours in, I might be inclined to go the 4.
Honestly,
take a vote.
I'd rather just tear through it. If it's a 6-hour flight and you're 2 hours in, that's cruel to turn it around. You're already in the mix.
Give me that mortician stuff that they put on their nose, like in Silence of the Lambs for dead bodies. Just hand it out. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They could at least like make snacks, or I guess you probably wouldn't want to eat.
I think their point would be that it's like a
worst idea. Just feed everyone on the biohazard plane.
There will be
free
no
red
in-flight
wine
meal
for the plane.
I'm gonna let you know there's not gonna be an in-flight meal.
We're gonna hope that the cumulative red wine breath
What would
covers
be
up
the
shit.
worst food? Just like pecan pie,
Goulash,
curry.
For dinner this evening, we have a lovely goulash with a chocolate pudding.
Did they get a picture of the person who did this? Was it a man or a woman? Do we know anything?
I guarantee somebody was like, "This the motherfucker right here. This is the shit pants motherfucker that's got me ruining my trip to Spain." Somebody had to have done that because they always do. I don't know if it was a man or a woman or white. I don't know zero about the perpetrator.
How did this stay under wraps?
This is like who shot Mr. Burns.
It is, and it's going to end up being fucking some stupid answer like Maggie. I bet it's not even a big fat obese guy, which is what I would imagine.
God, that's so.
Can we see I know there's a picture of the shit trail. Can we figure out how fat they are based on the wobbling of the shit trail going up to the bathroom?
There is a video of the shit trail. When I saw the video of the shit trail, that's when I knew it was the right move to turn around because the plane has been
Zach, find a photo of the shit trail. We can't show it, I'm sure, but like link it so we can look at it.
Because it's one of the planes that has a center row of seats as well, and so there's 2 aisles essentially, and so the cameraman is in one aisle walking up the aircraft filming the other aisle that's got a few seats between, and it's just more shit, and there's people have put like stuff on top of the shit so you don't have to look at the shit, so there's like paper towels everywhere, and like there's so much shit. It is not like, oh, had a little accident here. It's like you shit the whole plane, dude. You've ruined a 757.
Damn. So he like by the time he got to the bathroom, he was like done. Like,
I don't know. From what I read, once he got to the bathroom, he made an even bigger mess in there.
Oh, you'd have to get the police to get me out of that bathroom after I'd gotten in there. Like I would lock myself.
Everyone
in there.
gone.
They'd be like, "Sir, we are going to arrest you when we land the plane if you do not come out." And I'm like, "Please bag me, bag me, bag me, and drag me through the airport." Tell them I'm something cooler than a shit bandit.
Tell them I spit. Tell him I spit. Give me that hood.
Tell him I'm a bio threat. Don't say what kind, please.
Dude,
now,
he's so embarrassing.
Looking at the trail, you can almost hear the bursts as they were walking. Perhaps they took too big of a stride, but there are definitely like paintball. It's not a stream like somebody's, dumping out, I don't know, like a pesticide or something. It's like they're dropping bombs on their run up to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Dude, this picture that you linked, I know you can't show it because it's got shit. It is taking so many paper towels to cover up the small section we're looking at. And you can see a lot of shit peeking under that paper towel and that one.
There was so much shit.
And it's not a smattering. It's a full schmear. Like that.
That person was sick, and they must have had a lot of like a big colon or something. I couldn't poop that much. That'd be a record for me.
That's so much. Divert to Atlanta, passenger diarrhea all over.
You're muted, Kyle.
Passenger diarrhea all over. Man, what a terrible day at work for we had a terrible day of vacation.
There's got to be some on the ceiling too. You think like anybody freaked out and flung it up, so you can't discount it. You can't be a cleaner and go like, well, isn't he? No, there's none on the ceiling. Like, I don't think you know that. I don't think you would. You bet your life on it? No,
I wouldn't bet my life on. And I would be alarmed to be just breathing in all of that guy's recycled shit air forever. Like that. They should drop the oxygen thing.
Yeah,
just as a courtesy at that point, honestly.
Just for fun. Like, you know what? You guys wanted to see this thing go off your whole lives. Just for dealing with the shit, we're going to drop the oxygen thing.
We're going to drop the oxygen, get you a little better mood. You're breathing.
You're going to go down the slide when we get back home. You know?
It was like all over aircraft.
That lost today.
This plane is fucked, obviously.
We're not cushion as a flotation device. You know, you wanted to see it.
Did they give them like moccasins to walk out, like those little hospital booties or anything, so they could slide?
I doubt they did that. I bet people were walking very carefully out of this plane. That's terrible. You're right, Kyle. That is the most embarrassing poop story I can imagine. Like being locked in a plane with someone.
Yeah, you can't get away. You just get,
and you're not going to fucking Cleveland. You just ruined a flight to Spain. People are so excited. They're in a good mood. And now they're not.
Do you think like Chipotle and stuff is that they have like spies trying to figure out which fast food caused this so they can disavow it as quickly as possible? Like, do you think Taco Bell and Chipotle and Arby's all have agents in the field trying to ask them who they had last so they can blame it on them?
False flag it? Yeah. We're removing Popeyes from the terminal after a critical accident.
I saw an awesome poop video today too, which doesn't happen very often, but here's what was happening. It looked like we were in China because everyone was Asian and they were playing basketball. Kids are playing basketball and there's an adult supervising. Just a dude watching the kids play basketball. They're maybe 8, 9. This one kid sort of skips into the square and he's going to make a layup attempt and just full on lays a turd right there on the court and just keeps skipping and hopping away like he didn't just lay a big turd. But as soon as it plops on the floor, I mean, almost immediately, a basketball comes down and hits the shit right in the middle. I mean, right bullseye. And the shit goes splat and like sprays everywhere. And the adult sees the whole thing go down. And you just watch his expression, him going, shit's exploded. That child ran away. The shit has exploded. There's shit everywhere. He sort of smiles, turns around and leaves.
Yeah.
It's so good.
He's like, I'm a volunteer coach, so I'm going home.
Kid shit, and then the ball just sprayed everywhere.
You know what would have helped a lot? Shit. Burning a candle helps with poop smells a ton.
It would, but I bet they don't allow burning candles on a plane.
One day only. Smoke them if you got them. Anybody's got a cigarette, we're lighting up all the way fucking home. Rules off today.
Oh my God. The guy with a full pack of cigs in that case, you're like, yeah, cigarette guy. Keep smoking. You can do it. Keep
something
smoking.
about
he's got the whole pack in his mouth.
Yes.
Like if you have giant flatulent dogs, hypothetically, like a burning scented candle, it's magic against that.
Yeah. I bet those dogs are awful.
They were not prepared for that. I bet they did not have a room. I bet they didn't have a contingency plan, or like there was nothing in the manual for how to deal with it. I bet there's like plans for a reasonable amount of shit that like a baby missed the diaper or something. But there's no way that they had a contingency plan for an adult man, not only not having the wherewithal to hold his bowels, but thinking it was a good idea to spread it about in the midst of shitting. What do you do if you start shitting your pants in the middle of a plane? Do you get up and sprint?
I mean, honestly, who knows what you do?
I take my cyanide
It's got to be the scariest thing. That's nothing's. All right, let's get that molar out. Goodbye. I thought it was going to be something else, huh?
I wasn't pooping, but I was on the airplane. This is like, I don't know, 10 years ago. And I got air sick this is a problem that I sometimes run into, especially if I'm not well rested. And there's a line to the bathroom, but I know I'm going to throw up. But it's a matter of time. This is going on.
Yeah.
And I asked the line if I could go next. And they looked at me with like beads of sweat coming down my pale face. And all of them were like, yep, you to the front. So I think I'd try to pull something like that.
Have you used the bags before when you couldn't get up?
I have used those. Yeah, it's terrible.
Oh,
and
sucked.
The worst part of it is I feel like an imposition on the people around me. Like, everyone had to listen to me get sick. I'm worried that the bag's not airtight or something like that. It's awful.
We were on that little aircraft flying from Burlington, Vermont to Killington, Vermont, or wherever, and we were losing and gaining dozens of feet of altitude in a snowstorm, up and pulling my seat, my hands under my seat, pulling to keep my ass in it because we're up and down like that.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody taps me on the shoulder. I can't hear the people behind me because the aircraft's too loud. It's a snowstorm. And I look back and they go, JJ's sick. And I'm like, I look way back through he's in the back of the plane and he's green. This little fucker looks, and he's like making faces and waving. And I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with him? He's got a piss and he's got a puke. 2 bags. No, 3. And I went, like, the pilot has the vomit bags. And I'm like, oh, they need 3 vomit bags. He's like, is he shitting? I'm like, no, they say he's puking and pissing. He's like, let me know if he starts shitting. Like 6 bags, man. And I didn't find it to be embarrassing at all. Like, I didn't feel, because we were on a roll.
Yeah, I'd feel really bad for someone that happened to.
Yeah.
Like, that would suck.
I had the thought at some point where I was like, I can either be afraid of this or enjoy it, because whether I live and die, I don't have any control over. So let's just pretend like this is a fun little adventure. But it was kind of shaky there for a while, kind of dicey, as Brendan Schaub would say. It was a little rough.
I've never
been
had
on a
to
plane
shit
like
on a
that
plane.
too. I was just going off the coast of California from, I don't know, like Santa Barbara to San Francisco or something, like a short little flight on a little plane. And the turbulence was so bad. Like, ladies' purses were hitting the ceiling on the plane and stuff like that.
Nice.
And I wasn't super sick on that one, but I was scared. I spent the whole flight trying to cover how scared I really was. I never been on
others,
a plane
or
that
you have family with you?
No, I was by myself. I was just trying to not
be a man.
I guess,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
And there was a guy, he just had the vibe about him that he was a really frequent traveler, like a traveling salesman or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I had never been on a plane that small. And I asked him, like, is this normal? And the way he answered was like, no. No. I was like, fuck, if this guy's concerned, then we all should be.
I don't know planes, but I would say this plane had maybe 6 or 8 seats in it. And when we put the luggage in, he was weighing it. He was like, little bit on this side, little bit on that side. And then he was like, who weighs the most out of our group? And I looked around and it was like mostly women and I was like, me. And he's like, you're my co-pilot, because the heaviest goes in the front.
Really?
Yeah.
I had the opposite experience.
I held the checklist.
Really?
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. I was on a vacation once as a kid, and we were whitewater rafting down the Grand Canyon, and you get there by helicopter that soars through the Grand Canyon, like just the thing sideways, bank and turns in the Grand Canyon. And they're like, who's the lightest? And it was me. I'm like 14 or something, and 6 years from puberty. So I didn't know why they were asking, but the lightest person sat in the front, which was neat because there was glass, because you can see really well up front, but also there was glass by your feet, so you can see down, and the whole scene I was lucky to be in front.
Yeah, for sure. Front's always better. Roller coasters, everything. The only time it's not best to be in the front would be like a limo, right? Can you think of any other time you don't want to be in the front?
I think the back seat in the roller coaster is also good. I don't know what's better.
It does a different kind of inertial thing.
Yeah, buses on school trips. Everybody was having fun on the back of the bus because the teacher wasn't back there, and when the driver goes too fast over the speed bumps on the back of the bus, you get some air.
Okay, when you're a child, the back of the bus is a great place. But now, as a man grown, was the back of the bus truly where you'd like to be?
I want to be on
next
part
to
of
the toilet.
Bus.
No.
Yeah, no, I haven't been on a bus
unless you want to
was a
score.
kid.
Maybe you want to score some meth. Then that's probably the place to be.
Yeah. I don't want to hang out.
I don't know.
on
I've
buses.
honestly never been on one of those buses. We've got a friend that has bussed all over the goddamn country and trained, like taking trains, passenger trains. I've just kind of driven and taken planes everywhere I've gone. So like those alternatives, I don't know anything about them. The idea of having a toilet in the back of the bus and me and all these degenerates are just shitting in it all day, every day on a long ass cross country thing, like that Anthony Cumia trip they had to make because his shitty ass father sold the plane tickets.
Yeah.
Oh, all the way from Cali to New Jersey on a bus. Fuck
Yeah.
that.
Didn't Anthony say it took
excruciating.
weeks like to get from,
They ran out of money.
from like San Cupertino to to Brooklyn. Like it's an absurd distance.
They spent what money they had on marijuana, so they just starved and got high the whole way home. Like they were kids. Then the dad again sold their plane tickets that mom had bought to get them home.
He's got a great childhood story.
Bought them bus tickets instead. Kept the difference. Piece of shit.
His dad was shockingly a bad father in some of his stories.
Anthony was like 11 or 12 in that story, and it's after his dad had bought him the whore.
Yeah. Anthony, like that's one of the great O&A stories. He talks about Buzz, who was like an 18-year-old like stable prostitute, and on his 13th birthday his dad was just like, here you go. And he's like, yeah, and so when I was 13 I fucked a prostitute named Buzz in a stable. And it's like, that was probably weird for your development.
All right, I have a couple questions. What is a stable prostitute? This is like the horse stables is where
yeah
okay, and Buzz, this is her girl's name? Buzz?
Purportedly, yes.
Okay.
Like from Home Alone.
Woody, we talked about that gentleman. You'll know his name probably, and if not, I'll feel like an asshole. But for putting you on the spot, but the guy who like crashed his plane.
Oh, let me look it up. Something Everett or something.
So
James Everett.
So let me give. I like doing this occasionally. I like giving my very ignorant take on something, and you, who is much more informed, filling in the blanks for me. So it seems that this guy is some kind of like. It seems like this guy is
Trevor
a YouTuber.
Jacob.
Trevor Jacob makes YouTube videos about being a pilot and doing extreme things, it would seem. And recently he made a video where he's in a real shitbox of an airplane that I can't imagine he normally flies. I mean, I don't know a lot about airplanes, but I was looking at buying an $80,000 airplane once, and it was 10 times nicer than this fucking plane. So I would say this plane looks like it cost about $8,000 fucking dollars. And
can I jump in a little?
Yeah.
So he did buy an inexpensive airplane, as Kyle described. Some people would think that this like 1934 airplane was kind of an heirloom to be cared for, not to be trashed. Carry on.
Yeah. So in the video, he's got cameras everywhere. And the first thing I noticed was he's wearing a fucking parachute. Then he's like, oh no, the engine's out. But he starts doing this thing like where he's pulling the yoke or whatever back and forth and like stalling the plane out on purpose, clearly. And then you go to another camera angle. There's a GoPro on the fucking wing. And then there's another one on the tail. The tail one is pointing forward. The one on the wings pointed toward the cockpit. And so you've got these really great angles. There's another camera in the cockpit with him, and he's wearing one. And he's got his like stick cam, you know.
He was prepared.
So already I'm a little skeptical about the amount of camera equipment this man brings on his daily flights.
Can I add to the parachute thing?
Yeah.
So it's uncommon for a pilot to carry a parachute, but not unheard of. It is unheard of to carry a skydiving parachute with a reserve backup for your regular plane flight.
Let me ask you this. Is it common for them to be wearing the motherfucker?
Yeah, like you can have like a narrow backpack that you might wear, or especially if you're like a combat pilot in the old days, like they would have a setup
for
like
sure.
that.
Then,
yeah. Well, that setup can still exist today, but it's not very common. What he had, if I understand it right, was a legit skydiving uniform on with like thick, reusable stuff.
It looks sick. And by the way, you guys can watch this video if you want. Like just search the man's name and you'll find like not only his video, but like tons of reaction videos. The reaction videos are lame because they're under they pretend like we've been doing for the last minute that we don't know that the man just like jumped out of his plane for shits and giggles to like show you what a plane looks like when it crashed. And but the problem is, I think, is that he filed like an FAA report, maybe saying, whoopsie daisy, had a bit of a crash. And it's clear he didn't. It's clear that he crashed his plane on purpose. But he has great camera angles from all those GoPros because they all got recovered. And when he's like parachuting in or whatever, he's filming the plane as it makes these like loops and like faster and faster toward a mountain. You get to see the plane hit a mountain. And so I think what he did is like crazy irresponsible, I guess, and wasteful too. But that's right up my fucking alley, right? Crazy, irresponsible, and wasteful. So I got no issue with that. And it seems like, look, I don't know a lot about planes. Again, seemed like he'd rigged the plane to make right turns though, because it just sort of like went round and round and then crashed. My only thought would be like, you know how like sometimes a rider will come off a motorcycle and that bike has a funny way of just going straight up because they're meant to do that and it's perfectly balanced. Like I'd be worried that maybe he jumps out, the plane rights itself and glides like 8 miles to like a city.
Maybe the reason it spiraled down is because he accounted for that. Like he went to a spot where it'd be safe to crash a plane, you know, like he didn't do it over a city or over a neighborhood or something like that.
Agreed.
He went safe to crash a plane.
It looked desolate. I was worried about how he was going to get out of where he was landing. It was so goddamn desolate.
Yeah, like if there is a responsible way to abandon your airplane, perhaps this is it. And he clearly jumped out of the airplane.
Yeah, on purpose
for
to crash
video.
It. Yeah.
But so there's something called a NASA report where if you violate an FAA rule and then you say, "Hey, I violated it. I didn't want to. This is why I made this mistake." I did this once. I was flying and my motor went out. And I had two choices. I could either fly over houses and get back to my yard, which I've landed in 1,000 times and I'm very good at it, or I could land like in the marsh and take my chances. So I decided that my move was to fly over houses, which you can't do, and land in my yard. Then I filed a NASA report. I was like, "Hey, this is why I broke this rule." You know, it seemed like a safety issue for me, and you're all set. This guy filed a NASA report. Like, "Hey, man, darndest thing happened. While I was wearing a skydiving outfit with 6 GoPros all over the plane broke. So I had to jump." He didn't have to jump. He could have landed this thing safely. It just turned into a glider. You know, he would have been fine.
Mm-hmm.
But instead, he abandoned the plane and said, you know, "Oopsie daisy. Here's my get out of jail free card. Made a mistake."
Yeah, he did the opposite of what we said we wanted pilots to do last week, and that was stay with their plane to the last minute before they eject. He ejected, and the plane was fine.
He's at like 12,000 feet. I give up.
Yeah. But I think it's a pretty cool video. I enjoyed watching it. I hope he doesn't get in any trouble because like what he did was like all the things that I said, but it was also a cool fucking video. And I guess I don't care about FAA rules. Like
I couldn't care less.
I'm with you guys. Like. There are good FAA rules designed to keep people safe. Most of the rules around paramotoring are designed to keep other people safe. They're like, you can be as stupid as you want, but don't fly over people, houses, crowds, shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Don't fly in places where there are other planes, like big airports. Yeah. And it's like, these all seem like fair rules. You know, I'm cool with it. This guy may have broken some rules, but in a way that he didn't put anyone else in danger. So I don't care.
Yeah, I agree.
The video is pretty cool. Yeah, I'm watching it. It's pretty neat.
It's pretty fucking cool. Like I'd never seen. I don't know. Like modern cameras are so good. GoPros are so good.
Yeah, this is amazing quality too. Yeah.
There was a part where when he's skydiving, when the background looks so scenic and stuff, I was like, you know, if this was CGI, I couldn't tell it.
It looks like a movie almost.
It looks like
it's beautiful.
It's so beautiful. It doesn't look real. It's got a cool effect. But I mean, I think what I think is super lame is how all the other like plane guys on YouTube or whatever are like giving this guy shit because I think they're just jealous. I think they're just jealous that this guy like is getting so much attention, and so they're doing the dumbest fucking thing they could and giving him a lot more attention. Like,
yes.
And like they've never played this game before because they make stupid fucking airplane videos. but trust me, like the best thing you do is shut the fuck up and file a report with the FAA, dummy.
It is impossible to make entertaining aircraft videos.
Warren Buffett, he should do that.
Southwest 1380. Have you guys followed that flight at all? The whole
is that the plane where the engine exploded, the window blew out, and the woman got sucked halfway through the window?
Yeah, she died.
And they pulled her back, but she died of cardiac arrest. Not exactly sure how that works.
I bet she was fat. She didn't fit through the window.
If she was fat, do you think Southwest is going to be like, "This is circumstantial"? Any hyper stressful environment like that could.
Did you listen to the captain?
They have a recording with the aircraft traffic controller, the ATC. She was amazing. I teared up listening to just how great she was at the whole thing. I'd play it. It's like 7 minutes long, so it might be too long. But
how was she so great? Like just the way she handled it, or like what really got to you?
She was cool as a cucumber the entire time. The aircraft traffic controllers were also very good. They had a lot to do. They had a lot of shit to handle. She's in a hurry to get to descend, to lose altitude, because the people in the back, they don't have air. Someone's getting sucked out. So she's like, I need to get down to 11,000, 8,000. They're working on. She needs a long final, which is the straight part of the approach as you head towards the landing strip. And she was polite. She was cool, calm, and she's like, all right, I'm gonna need a dedicated channel to get to the final. Yeah, good day. And I'm like, oh my god, she wished them a good day, which is kind of how
she's actually said good day.
Yeah, which is what they say as they switch from one frequency to another. It almost means goodbye. But if you guys haven't seen it yet, check out that log. It's all over YouTube, which is where I watched it. She's amazing, and just like cool, calm stuff. Like hey, yeah, we're gonna want some fire trucks on engine number 1. That's the captain's side. And oh yeah, by the way, looks like someone got sucked out a window. We're going to want some medical there waiting for us as we arrive. And, everyone on both sides is just like, okay, get medical. Yep. We'll have that there for you. And she landed on one engine right next to the fire trucks, and they squirted her with foam or something. It was, dude, she was better than Sully. It was amazing. It was quite the feat.
Come on. I don't know about that. He landed a plane that shouldn't have been able to be landed in the water and saved everybody. She lost a woman. All right.
She did lose a woman.
He had no runway.
People second
landed
guess
on the
Sully.
Water.
People
That's
second
true.
guess Sully. They say that he landed on the water and he should have put it down in an airport. Now, no one died, so I guess it was a good call. But it was questionable. He might have made it back to the airport.
I don't know. I don't know enough about.
Well, if he made it
these people
80% to the airport
That'd
and
be
then
bad.
smashed that motherfucker into Ramada, they'd be talking. They'd be, why did you land in the water? What the fuck? Like, come on. Like, everybody lived. Well, they sunk a jet. Big deal.
Yeah, I'm guessing. I don't know much about this, but I think that if you land a jet, well, it would have had wheels. I don't know why I just assumed it would be a belly landing. But yeah, he lost the plane. But I don't know.
Yeah, there's some insurance adjuster somewhere who's like, you couldn't have made it another mile and a half. Come on, god damn it.
I would have liked it more is as they were getting everybody off the plane, he was like barricading himself in the cabin, like the cockpit, being like, no, a captain goes down the ship.
You're not that kind of captain.
That only applies to boats, sir. Not me. I'm going down in this 737.
It's a boat now, bitch.
I'm drinking till the end as he frantically unscrews little bottles of wine.
She was amazing. So I started looking into her, and apparently she was like the first fighter pilot, female fighter pilot captain ever. She flew F-18 Hornets, and she just like broke barriers her whole career. She almost like, if you're gonna have an emergency like this, she'd be a good pilot to pick, and she nailed it. I was pretty excited.
This was the first U.S. Death since 2009.
Yep.
So that was almost like a 10-year streak.
Yeah.
Ruined.
Before Fatty McFatty got sucked halfway out the window.
But how do you get sucked halfway out?
I just told you how.
Fatty McFatty was the key there.
Yeah.
So what happened was an engine.
What part of her got sucked out? Like an arm got sucked out?
Top half.
Oh, her head got sucked out.
Yeah. Her ass is just in the plane.
That's how I pictured it. Are you right or are you guessing?
I'm guessing because it's the most comedic way to get half sucked out of plane.
Yeah, it's how I pictured it.
Yeah, it certainly wasn't like a thigh or something. I don't know. I was just trying to think. Like, she must have had the window seat, right? Reading her book, playing her Candy Crush, and then the thing off the engine spins, breaks it, shatters the window. Immediately, like, is it like the way we see in the movies where you get sucked out? Or
apparently.
Big
I don't care for
difference.
this. I don't want to sit next to the engine anymore.
Oh, I hate sitting next to the engine anyway. It's so loud.
Yeah, but sometimes you get that seat next to the engine where there's not a seat directly in front of you, and you get that extra leg room. You know,
I like that now.
When I was
I
a
like
kid,
that. And they come by and they're like, "Hey, are you willing to risk everything to save everyone on this plane?" And it's like, when the time comes, it won't fucking matter if I don't.
when I was a kid, there was an airplane accident.
Yeah, two we're looking for, sir.
The metal fatigued on the top of the plane and just got sucked off. It blew off like the hood on a car, just gone. And first class got sucked out of their seats and died. And everyone was like, well, fuck them anyway.
Right?
It's like the national response.
Oh, you got $200 extra? Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
And you know, there's just one like woman on there. It's like, I've been flying since 47, never once sat up front. Now's the time for Edna to live the high life.
My grandchildren treated me.
When I asked for a hurricane, this isn't what I expected. You know.
Oh man, that's so fucked to die on an airliner. Like I gotta admit, like whenever I'm on a plane and things get bumpy or it's going up and down, I have no fear because I just have this belief that like these things are safe as fuck. Like they just are. They're just so safe now. I just have no fear no matter what it does. Like it's like being a passenger in a car with a professional driver. Like no matter what he does, I'm just like, dude, you got this. This is what they pay you to do. I have no fear of this. But
you kind of have to suspend that fear in order for you to not be like freaking out, you know? Like, because if you were seriously,
I wouldn't be able to suspend it if I was being suspended out a goddamn jet window at 30,000 feet and I don't know how fast, 550 miles per hour.
No, at no point was she thinking, these are really safe.
Oh, man.
Just fucking icicles on her eyelashes.
It's a lot colder than you think.
She died smiling. It was more of a frozen grimace. But
oh shit, that's fucked. Man, that would be. And you'd imagine like telling your family what happened to like mom or grandma or whatever. Yeah, she got sucked out the window, kids. What? Yeah.
It's just a reminder that at Southwest, you all choose your own seating. You semi brought this upon yourself. Yeah.
That's great.
And you could have chosen an aisle seat. Yeah.
if you're like a 9-year-old kid and your mom is the one who got sucked halfway out a window and died or whatever, there's no way you can ever fly again without fear, right? Like that's always
and like Chiz.
That's Chiz. Did someone you know get sucked out of an airplane? Is that what this has all been about?
Is there an 09 incident? Was that related to you?
Is that why they call you the ground or the Greyhound? Groundhog's a better nick Greyhound. Man, that's fucked.
Yeah, that is fucked. That's so sad. Like for the family of that person, you know? Because it's like, even among random deaths, that's got to be one of the most random. To die in a plane crash where it's not even a plane crash, it's just one person on the plane dies. Like, how many times has that happened ever where one person on the plane dies?
Right, just
final destination.
It just suck that person out the window. Like I fuck you in particular.
Maybe she was an evil person. Like that's the kind of like that almost seems like God reached down and was like, no more.
Maybe
no more
the devil
of you.
did it. Maybe she was the good person.
But if she died of cardiac arrest,
my theory is silly.
Zapped her.
I don't think the devil has that power. Taylor can correct me, but I don't believe the devil can influence.
None of it's real.
Consider yourself corrected.
It's like seeing who. It's like having a competition of who can imagine the bigger goblin. Like what? Mine's as big as a skyscraper. Mine lives in space and is the size of the sun. You know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no. But that does fucking suck.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. Every time I hear about a tragedy like that, I always go back and I always think, what was that person thinking 30 minutes before that? What were they thinking that morning? You know, when they were buying a coffee that morning, did they know that? Like, they obviously didn't know this is the last cup of coffee you're gonna have in your whole life. When they took a shit that day, this is the last shit you're ever going to take in your life. This is the last piss. This is the last step. The last time you're going to be standing. Like, do you guys get like that? Where you think about it, where it's like they didn't even realize. Like, if I had a brain aneurysm right now and died,
like I wouldn't have known that the last time I stood on two legs was when I was sitting down here. You know, like,
Cheers
I don't
would
know.
be
That's
like,
not
time to shine, baby. Put me in, coach. No remorse. The disgusting airplane farts. Go to that story.
Oh yeah, passenger. This is on metro.co.uk. Passenger drops farts so putrid, pilot is forced to make emergency landing. Can you imagine? Can you imagine how putrid a fart has to be for everyone on board to like quickly go from like to like get us out? Get us out! Like,
how do I get that oxygen mask? Oh, they're clawing at the roof of the cabin.
Two Dutchmen sitting next to him didn't take well to his flatulence, but the unashamed man was not put off and refused to hold back.
what a piece of shit. They should lock him in the brig.
They should have locked him in the bathroom.
Police
there's
boarded the
video?
plane with dogs.
Despite a warning from the pilot, a fight between the men broke out, causing the flight to be diverted to Vienna. That's what actually happened. They got into a fight over his gas.
I think that's maybe even funnier though, right? Like someone beat this guy up because he was farting so much. Which it must have exacerbated the situation, right? Like I just imagine every punch.
They tried to turn it into a race thing, these cunts. Do they sometimes think that all Moroccans cause problems? That's why we do not let it sit. It's like, you ripped ass on that plane so bad that people were vomiting.
That's not true.
It's not because you're Moroccan. Or maybe it is. I don't know what those people eat.
A lot of curry.
That would make sense. At least he got kicked off the... Can you imagine, like, dogs having to come on the plane because they're like, no, it was just somebody farting, and they're like, no, this can't possibly just be that. it's gotta be more.
There's some sort of noxious chemicals in there. My partner went blind. We're gonna have to sweep the whole area.
They got banned from Transavia Airlines. What is this fucking airline? I've never.
No loss there.
I know. I'll never get ananywhere without Transavia.
Oh man, what am I gonna do with all my miles?
There were two women involved in the fight as well. I don't know what role they played.
Do you ever read stuff like that? Like that's happening way on the other side of the world, like Transavia Airlines, and like in your head, like that may as well be Narnia. Like it's in your head, it's not real.
I was like
Transylvania.
Yeah.
I'm still not convinced is a place.
Well, where else would vampires come from? Explain that.
Touche. But like, yeah, like all of Eastern Europe, that could have been made up by J.R.R. Tolkien, and nobody's there. There can't be hundreds of millions of white people squatting in tracksuits. Like it can't be. Like there's just no way that's a real thing. That'd be a neat place to visit, though.
Transylvania?
No. Like Eastern Europe or like Russia or something. Like I feel like it would be so different. It'd be almost like Japan-esque, except white people. Like maybe it's not as different as I'm anticipating, but it seems like it would just be totally.
Could any of us pass for Russian if we just didn't talk? Like throw on a tracksuit and walk around and they'd have no idea?
Yeah, I think so.
What is
this? It looks like Jim Norton. It looks like Jim Norton was the pilot of this plane. Look like
this God, yes. Sex selfies in the cockpit.
It looks like Jim Norton.
All right. Look, for the viewing audience out there, this is an article on The Sun, which is a British paper/website. So this airline pilot, an experienced 777 pilot, I think this is a big one, is taking all these dirty pictures in the cockpit. He's wearing pantyhose, with his feet on the yoke, I think you call it, and his dick and balls are clearly exposed.
I can't even show this to you guys. Floorboard. Yeah, you can't. They blurred out his taint, but you can clearly see his scrotum. Like
no, that's I see a little pubic hair. I don't see scrot.
Yeah, you're right. That's probably his fupa.
Yeah, the balls are on the bottom of the penis, Woody, and not on the top. Where are your balls at? Are yours at the top?
What was I thinking when I looked at this?
Is that a result of one of these meetings?
I'm looking at what did I think the deal was?
Of
I thought he was pulling his balls up, and that was the bottom of his scrotum. Because he's tilted up. He's in this position. The balls could be up. He's in
look at how
birthing
dirty
position.
his feet are.
pilot's feet shouldn't be that dirty.
He's
What's he been doing?
Stockings.
He's wearing leggings.
Look at by his thighs. You can see the lace.
I didn't scroll down quite enough.
Oh, sorry, I'm the fool.
And here's another one where he's like reaching way across the cockpit with his lacy man leg to like operate a very important control, I'm sure.
I would assume, yeah.
Yeah, none of those are controls you can just blow off. They're
flew
all
a
essential to flying.
777.
I don't think this plane is in flight, judging by some of the instrumentation.
Yeah.
What are you seeing? I'm very impressed.
But
no. Here it says, I quote,
I have to put my glasses on to look.
Experts are almost certain that they were taken during a live passenger flight. An experienced
No, it is. Now that I put my glasses.
Look at the left. He's at 32,000 feet.
Slightly nose up.
You see the one with the Ford magazine?
32,000.
Yeah, this is the lamest Mile High Club member ever.
The one with the porn magazine.
He's by himself.
Right above the yoke on the right side, you can see his altitude. He's a better.
Yeah, where's the co-pilot?
He's
had to blow him up.
pictures.
Yeah.
He's the co-pilot's in the corner jerking it off while he watches all this creepy shit go down.
Yeah, bring us down.
This is what turns me on. Oh fuck!
I like playing with other people's lives. Playing with other people's lives like it's a joke.
Can you imagine if there were an emergency and like you know the stewardess or whatever, like the head flight attendant, like kicks the door in, we've got a major emergency, and you're like dick in hand, lacy stockings on, flying the plane with your heel.
Yeah, I know. I'm already preparing for the end.
Orgasm, like trying to deal with this stressful. That's absurd. I can't believe he took those photos because it's
tailed on the landing gear handle.
Yeah.
You said it, and first I thought accident, and then I thought on purpose.
Fighting the lever that you as a co-pilot have to operate every day, like out of. He's like, fuck it. He's like, smell your hand after this, you fucker, smell it. It himself
smells like a prison rape in here, like the showers in Oz. You know.
Oh, what a fucking degenerate, man. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty.
I've been watching all these air flight videos, like there's Mr. Aviation 101. I've been watching a lot. Flight Junkie or something like. I'm watching a couple of them, and because I guess I was just giving a little thought to getting like a general aviation's pilot license. Like, would this be cool? I think paramotor's more fun. There's something about it that's just sky driving. You're kind of trapped. You're filing a flight plan. When you fly, you're indoors. It's sky driving. And
you told Anthony about this last time, right?
I've watched the videos. They're fucking fantastic.
Wait, you watched my videos?
Yeah.
Of me like flying and shit?
Yeah, you flying with a fucking fan on your back.
Yes, exactly what it is.
Dude, I'm really loving that.
It looks cool as fuck.
You didn't happen to see the one where I launched from my yard? It was like, this is a big deal to me or something like that. It was my most recent. And dude, I don't know. There's just something special about this paramotor thing. Like you sit in a chair and you're flying a chair around the sky. And there's like a certain athletic thing to it. Like you got to run fast enough and get the wing up. And this is like there's a little, once you get it, you get it. And then you like fly around in a chair and there's like nothing. It's like you're flying.
All right. Delta plane dumps fuel on 4 elementary schools over LA. We're very proud of LA.
What a headline.
An airplane making an emergency landing today at LAX discharged fuel while flying over our schools. Students and staff may have been sprayed by fuel or inhaled fumes. Paramedics are treating those complaining of skin irritation or breathing problems.
What a bunch of pussies. Yeah. What is this fucking generation that we can't take a little bit of gasoline?
Yeah.
First of all,
some of these kids were as much as 7 years old. Toughen up.
We all know how high up that plane must have been when it vented this stuff. Even when
typically you
down,
come in for emergency landings way high.
But over 4 schools. How close are these 4 schools? Right?
They show where they're within 1 mile of the airport.
There are 4 schools.
Less than that.
They're less than a mile.
There's 3 million people that live here, Kyle.
In that neighborhood, there aren't. It's a gigantic city. I've been there.
Yeah. So around
what
LA,
I'm saying is this is nonsense. Somebody smelled a little kerosene. Oh, my delicate nose. I smelled petroleum products. Ooh.
Yeah, I live next to the Santa Monica airport. I smelled that jet fuel every day. I don't have cancer yet.
A bunch of pussies. A bunch of pussies. They're just probably trying to sue Delta and make now.
Are you on Big Delta's payroll, Kyle?
See, next time I want to fly to Atlanta, to North Atlanta, I'm gonna have to pay more. That's a joke about how I'm not allowed to leave the north of Georgia.
Oh, I didn't get it at first. Do you have flights going 13 miles? Because that's my radius.
Can I just sit in it just for a minute? Can I get a bag of those peanuts and I'll split? I used to fly like every other month, and it's been a while. Yeah, I think this is a case of people in Los Angeles being a bunch of bigger pussies, because I just can't imagine that. See, what they lead you to believe by this article is that like it rained gasoline onto children, and they were just like as it drenched them in literal gasoline. First of all, I think jets run on kerosene, but
probably jet fuel.
All, I think kerosene is jet fuel. Let me Google it. Maybe I'm wrong about that. But
jet fuel is its own thing, but it's like kerosene, I think.
But
jet fuel is a clear straw-colored fuel based on unleaded kerosene.
Yeah. So I think that they just smelled a little kerosene, and they got their little buttholes up in a.
Nobody's suing, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, then whose article is this? Is it CNN?
It's probably Fox News. And
we
CNN
believe.
combined.
I can see Don Lemonette. We believe that the pilot of the plane was none other the Democratic candidate Bernie Sanders.
Wait, so, all right, so it is actually CNN is the first two that pop up.
I think mine was on ABC, but
Fox
it's all
News wouldn't even report on this nonsense.
ABC is just a
fair and balanced.
My favorite thing about this too is what they're not talking about is this plane's making an emergency landing. They were dumping fuel so they wouldn't explode the 300 passenger jetliner on landing.
Those people are pussies too. If they can't take a little explosion.
Yeah, take your skin irritation and save 300 people from the most costly disaster since 1998, I think, in the North American airline system.
I would say.
Well, 2001, there was a pretty big one.
I'm talking. Okay, relax. I'm talking about.
Oh my God, Tucker! Never forget. Well, they had one rule: never forget.
That was terrorism. Oh, but was Delta being a terrorist organization by dumping this jet fuel across the schools, targeting these schools?
They targeted the schools.
I mean,
according
how else
to NPR?
Yeah, where else are the headlines saying that the homes in between the schools were
I bet these were underprivileged schools too, even at that. What were these minorities? Like I
Delta Airlines. I love Delta.
I love Delta too. I only fly Delta. I got so many Delta miles.
Are they not expired after the?
I don't think they expire. I think
status expires. You're right. Your miles don't.
Have you ever heard of Bebo Russell?
No idea. No. Is it a real? Is that a fictitious person?
Yeah, they call him the Sky Thief. So Bebo worked baggage handling at an airport.
Oh, I remember this guy, the Sky King.
He played some video game simulators with planes, and occasionally he'd ask pilots, "What's that switch to?" or "What's this switch to?" One time they even caught him in the cockpit toggling around with the switches that he hadn't been told about before, and they reprimanded him. Well, turned out that Bebo was depressed, suicidal, like really kind of done with life, and so he stole a large passenger plane, took it out. And as they're like, "Hey, you do not have clearance to move on the runway," or the blah, he just ignores them, takes it off perfectly, and then starts doing tricks in it that most experts say are beyond them and they would never attempt, especially not at those altitudes. This man has like a medium-sized passenger plane doing barrel rolls and loop-de-loops. There is a loop that he does where I'm gonna guess it looks like he's gonna crash. I'm like, oh, this is him dying, because he's like coming out of the loop and like he's losing so much altitude. He's right above the ground in this big plane, and he recovers it and takes it back up. And he's talking to them as like more calmly than I am right now. He's like, yeah, I think I'm going to try to do a barrel roll. And if I make it through that, I think I'm just going to put her down in that island over there. I really didn't think I'd make it this far, frankly. And he just sort of like gives his suicide letter right there.
Yeah.
He's like, there's going to be a lot of family and friends that are going to be disappointed in me. I'm real sorry, but I guess I'm just a guy with a few screws loose and I'm just done.
Yeah. Here's apparently some quotes, like some conversations between them.
They have the audio. Yeah, I've heard it.
Just flying around the plane. You seem comfortable with that? Is the operator. Oh, hell yeah. It's a blast. I've played video games before. So, I know what I'm doing a little bit. Okay. And you can see all the terrain around you. You've got no issue with visibility or anything. Nah, everything's peachy. Peachy clean. Just did a little circuit around Rainier. It's beautiful. I think I've got some gas to go check out the Olympics. Damn it, Andrew. People's lives are at stake here. Rich, don't say stuff like that. And that was another guy they're talking on the same thing. I don't want to hurt no one. I just want you to whisper sweet nothings in my ear. They asked him, well, Rich, I already talked to him. Just like me, what we want to see is you not get hurt or get anyone else hurt. So if you want to try and land, that's the way to go. Hey, I want the coordinates of that orca, the mama orca with the baby. I want to go see that guy.
What the fuck?
Sorry, my mic came off. I threw up a little bit. Sorry about that. I hope it doesn't ruin your day. Hey, do you think if I land this successfully, Alaska will give me a job as a pilot? I think they would give you a job doing anything if you could pull this off. Yeah, right. Nah, I'm a white guy.
Oh, that's gold.
The middle one of sorry, my mic came off. I threw up a little bit. I'm sorry about this. I hope it doesn't ruin your day. It's so funny. He just from his quotes, he seemed like a guy that just was having a blast flying around, wanting to have.
No, you don't get it. He doesn't have any future. Like that's his.
No, I know.
But he's having some fun there.
He's having some fun on his way out. Is what he was trying to.
I wish we could show like the footage of him flying the plane because it legitimately doesn't look real. Like what he's doing in that plane. He's doing like stunts in a passenger plane for the fun of it. And he's I had seen like this old footage of I don't know, one of the big Boeing planes doing those maneuvers in Nevada, like when they were proving them. And it was a test pilot with a parachute, and he was at like high altitude doing these maneuvers. This kid has never been in a plane before, and he's doing them over a lake. Like the public is out watching. It's absurd. He's so
apparently he said he wanted to do it over the lake so that if he fucked up, no one would get hurt other than him.
Eventually, he put it down on a little. When I say put it down, he fucking crashed it nose first as fast as he could into the ground in an unpopulated area.
If he would have landed it successfully, like I feel like by this point, that was a few years ago now. Like he would have been like doing Kimmel or something. Sure, stealing a plane. Actually, no, he'd be in fucking Guantanamo probably. He'd either be doing Kimmel if people thought it was funny and it was like a popular thing to meme on it, or if it was like this guy's a domestic terrorist, then he'd be in.
If he got to be on TV in court, if they had like his court thing on TV, he would win over like everybody based on his personality there, right? Because he's very endearing.
He seems funny. He's all those shucks, sweet nothings, that kind of language.
I heard his voice. He's so chill. It's
I feel for him. Like he's clearly in pain. He committed suicide. He didn't want to hurt anyone else. He did steal some pretty expensive equipment, but
good for him.
But I don't know.
American on the way out.
I don't really like the airlines myself.
Yeah,
Delta's the best. I don't care what anybody says. Like
Delta.
I think
I
I'm
thought
biased.
you'd say Virgin. I thought you were.
You're a Georgia guy, so of
I've
course
only been
Delta's
able
for
to
you.
fly.
Right.
So Virgin doesn't fly flights out of Atlanta, seemingly. I don't know. They've rarely been an option in the past. I've only had one Virgin flight. That was really chill. Now that I think about it, that they had this like purplish, pink lighting in first class, and it was a nighttime flight from like Seattle down to LA or something. Like it's only like a 2.5 hour flight, but it was super chill. And I just remember Kitty and I are up in first class, and I'm in the window, and their first class is pretty nice. The seats recline, and then you still have like it's like you're in a recliner, and then you could get out of the recliner and stand and look back at the leg thing kicked up. There's still enough room to stand there. And this little Asian lady snuck up out of coach and like walks into that space. Like she's between us and the people in front of us. Like we're reclined. We're like curled up in blankets, like in our first class seats. It's nighttime. And she's like poking Kitty. Hey, hey, like waking her up and asking her how much the tickets up here cost.
How much your tickets cost? Like,
I refuse to help. I refuse to help or translate because Kitty wakes up and she's like, well, what's it all about? Oh, what is it want?
Oh, what does it want?
My precious.
Finally, the flight attendant showed up and shooed that little lady back to where she belonged in the back.
I like it when the flight attendants do that because it makes me feel special. I think this is Freudenberg. Like when you take pleasure from other people's pain. I may have that word messed up.
So how did you get banned from Twitch? I don't think I know the background. Like,
I was streaming at the airport, and me being as stupid as I am, I was just like, oh, my flight's going to take off in like 30 minutes, guys, so I'll end the stream then. I'm going to, Texas, and, I'm walking around. Oh, my gate number is that. Oh, okay. Like, I just was very not... I was
too open? Yeah.
I was like just very careless with like where I was. And, I got swatted, and then Twitch was like, all right, he's, this is like... dangerous for us.
Wait, you got swatted at the airport? Like they showed up at your
on the
gate?
plane? No,
Oh, on the plane. That's even worse.
So the plane landed in Arizona. We sat on the plane for an hour, and they told everybody to shut the windows on the plane. And I didn't fucking listen. I left my shit open. I saw police pull up, and I was like, "Oh fuck!" And
He's the only one with the open window. He's behind us still.
I knew they were going there for me because, I've been swatted before, and I just fucking knew. So I pull my camera out to record it, and they come up, they pull me out, super embarrassing. Everyone on the plane's looking at me. They probably think I'm some fucking terrorist. And then I sit in the back of a police car for like 3 hours, talk to the FBI, and they let me go. And they give me a free hotel and everything, and free flight to Texas. And then I got banned.
Did they divert the flight because of you?
No, my layover was in Arizona.
Oh, okay.
But everyone missed their flight. It was just a horrible experience.
No, was that the first time you did anything wrong, or was that just like the coup de grace? Like, did Twitch have a long list of troublesome activities?
I was banned like 4 times prior to that. It was for like stupid reasons. Three times were because of text to speech donations. Like I go AFK for my computer and it says the N word or something, and I get banned for 24 hours or whatever. And then I got banned for leaking a girl's phone number on accident. And then I got banned and then they banned me for the swatting. And, a few weeks before that, I had my camera get smashed by like this guy at a restaurant. And there's just a bunch of things that added up, dude, that like kept making it in the news that Twitch, I guess, didn't really want to deal with.
Yeah.
There's a 2.5-minute video. Can we watch it together?
Yeah.
All right. Oh, this is on your channel. Yeah. So
if you're listening and you want to watch along, this is on Ice Poseidon's channel. It's called Swatted on Plane.
Right, so what we do is we queue up at 0, and then we'll say like 3, 2, 1, play, and we'll all watch it together. Is everyone queued up?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
3, 2, 1, play.
So they have
Yeah, so they're coming out through the back of the plane right now, and they're just. I just knew they were staring right at me when they walked in.
Stand up.
Of course. And they thought it was like...
Of course.
They looked through my bags. They went through everyone's bags. They thought I hid the bomb somewhere in the fucking plane. I'm like, dude, I live stream and people do fucked up shit. They're just like... totally not understanding what the fuck I was talking about.
I would be livid if this happened on a flight.
Oh, right.
What do you mean?
Oh, like if I had to sit there and wait because of this?
Oh,
There's
yeah.
some random ass dude. I'd be like, oh, god damn.
Dude, I felt so bad for everyone on that plane.
Yeah, the interviews with some of the other people were... honestly, it kind of pissed me off. I was glad they were inconvenienced because they were being shitty to you. They were like, yeah, he was suspicious looking and he had some sort of a Go camera and I don't know what he was.
No, dude, but Kyle, think about it. Like 4 hours into waiting, and they come up and talk to you, you're gonna be like, yeah, there probably was something wrong with him. Like, yeah.
It's kind of shitty because the girl I was talking with on the plane was actually interviewed as well. And I was talking to her the whole flight. She was like normal, and we were having a good conversation. And then she literally turns around on the news. Yeah, I think he's fucking weird and blah, 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 all this shit. And I'm like, come on, really? Like,
we were watching the news, and you saw all the other interviews, and then you saw her face, and you're like, oh, okay, one redeeming one. And then he's kind of a fucking creep, you know?
Yeah.
We're just stop talking about bombs and homemade explosives. Yeah.
He asked me if I wanted to shake his dick. It was very awkward.
I admire that you still have the camera rolling. Like, that's something that I, like, the few times that I stream or vlog or whatever could improve on. It's the interactions with the people that's the coolest part of the stream. Are they trying to figure out how to turn your gear off right now?
Yeah, they had no idea how to turn it off.
I love that.
But I wanted to make sure I got it on tape because, I mean, I was just like, you know, if this is going to happen, I at least want to document it.
Yeah,
whenever
sure.
something goes wrong, it's like, this would get some money anyway. It might be worth the inconvenience when it's by the time it's all said and done.
I mean, didn't make any money off that video, but it was.
Why not?
It was just
300,000 views.
I think it got demonetized.
I'm not surprised. Silly YouTube.
Actually, the demonetization stuff isn't really that bad on YouTube when you live stream. My live streams don't get demonetized until after the fact, so I get like 150K views from a live stream that's just monetized, and then they'll demonetize when it's a VOD, which is nice.
What airline? You fly a lot, and I guess you guys book a lot of flights for your people. What airline do you use?
We always try to use JetBlue. But,
okay. I got no JetBlue experience.
Oh, JetBlue is awesome. JetBlue is every seat has a TV. There's Wi-Fi on most of the flights. The seats are really comfortable, and they're a little bit bigger than most. We couldn't do JetBlue for this one, so we had to fly. We flew American, and it was okay going there. We had no TVs, nothing coming back. It kind of sucked.
Yeah, I flew Frontier the other day, and that is the shittiest fucking airline I have ever been on my life.
I think I've maybe flown Frontier once.
Dude,
is that the one where it's like they charge you for your carry-on?
Yeah. Yeah,
okay,
it is.
I've done that.
Yeah,
they charge you for carry-on. What years?
I got a whole. Let me lay this out there for you. First of all, I usually fly Delta, and yeah, you get a TV even if you're in coach or whatever, and it's really nice for passing the time. If you
I've
can,
never
like, flip
flown
on.
anything but coach. I've never flown first class. I've never flown anything but coach.
Me either.
You're missing out.
First class is great.
Professional UFC fighter.
Way too cheap.
Well, sometimes I get in this scenario with Delta, especially because of how their baggage and stuff works, where if I'm bringing 2 checked bags, like if it's paintball and I got a whole bag of paintball gear and a whole bag of like street clothes, then it's actually cheaper, or it's within like $50 to like upgrade to first class and get 2 free checked bags than to stay in coach and pay. So like, I usually do that. But anyway, I booked this flight myself. Me and Chiz went out to Colorado for a little vacation and took my girlfriend, had a good time. And I was booking this thing all up, and I used cheapoair.com or some horse shit because I've been watching a lot of Hulu and kept seeing the reviews.
I think this is the fork in the road that you regret
It
taking.
is. Oh, yeah. First of all, I should have started with Travelocity.
Kayak is also good. Everyone's frozen for me right now.
I was like, all right. That it would just, it got away from me. I was like, clickety, click, 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 $1,500 spin or whatever, getting this trip together. And dude, they charge you for your bags. My ticket was like, not counting whatever like bullshit up fees they like lay on you. That's like another $30, but I think it was like $370 per ticket to like go there and back, like the round trip ticket. So that's, but then the bags ticket, dude, each bag, it was like, I paid like $250 total to move the bags there and back. Yeah. Like it was almost as much as a human ticket. They left us sitting on the runway in Atlanta for 50 minutes when we got back. It was 2 a.m. when I got home last night. We get at the end of this 2-hour and 45-minute flight, and he's like, 10 more minutes. 10 more minutes. And like 30 minutes have went by after 10 more minutes. And he's like, well, they're looks like they're moving on out now. We're going to be able to pull on that gate in about 10 more minutes. And I just screamed, we don't believe you. And like half the cabin cracks up. It was almost worth it, but not really. It was the worst.
We use kayak.com because it checks like a whole bunch of different sites.
I'll do that.
I think it tells you. I don't usually book the flights now. Usually I have Chris book all the stuff, but because there's so like this time I think I had like 8 or 9 people that went out, so I ended up paying for all the flights and booking everyone, and because I like different coaches or whatever. So Chris does all that stuff, and honestly it's the best thing. Like I always pay for Chris to come out, but I don't deal with any of the bullshit. So Chris he talks to this person and finds out when they need to leave and when they need to be back, and he works out everything. And
Kitty mocked me to no end. I hate it when she's actually right because she's really good at booking stuff. And this is like she would have happily booked this for me, but I just went off and did my own
She's got a
thing.
letter.
So like now we're gonna do some birthday trip for her, and it's like I'm so hands off on this fucking shit. I don't want any part because I really did fuck it up. I never do all that stuff, and like I fucked it up and definitely overpaid.
JetBlue's really good. Virgin's really good, but they don't fly very many places. Those are the two we try to always use.
Yeah, I'll never do anything but Delta again. Here's the stupidest part. I have 80,000 flyer miles with Delta. Like why would I not?
And you took Frontier.
Yeah,
fly like it's the 1800s. Yeah.
I literally have enough air miles to have done the trip for free, and then had like 30,000 left over or something like that.
I'm like that on JetBlue, and I never. But here's my thing: is like I have a JetBlue card that I use, but if I buy JetBlue flights, I get like quadruple points.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, do I want to use my flights I already have, my points, or do I want to spend money and get more points?
I spend money and get more points. I'm not gonna
that's what I end up doing.
I love it. I love having those points because it's like this weird form of currency that I just have sitting somewhere, just off on its own. And you know that
expire, though? Like it seemed like
I don't think so with Delta.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Oh, really?
You check your airline miles because
I checked them
you might just try and use them one day and they'll be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, sir. All that distance disappeared. Good luck."
I don't know. I'm some kind of medallion member with Delta. I don't think they're going to expire anytime soon. I just checked them last week.
I think if you don't add to them, I think they usually disappear.
Oh,
after some time. So if you fly consistently, then I think they keep resetting. I think
maybe that's it because I haven't flown a lot lately. But there was a time when I did. It seemed like every 2 weeks or something I had a place to go, and it was just like, man, like if those didn't just fall off the last 52 weeks, adding these would have given me like 100,000 this year. And I think to get the cool stuff, you have to bundle in the rest of it, like getting hotel points and car points and.
Yep.
I was trying to do it all off miles and didn't get it done.
Yeah. I like saving those points because like if someday like you guys want to go to Japan or something, I'm just going to, absolutely. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. And that's the flight that I want to use those air miles for and do first class. Like I don't want to sit coach for 16 hours or something.
When I supposedly fought in Japan, I tried to upgrade to first class. They wanted like $4,000. I'm like, I'm going to sit in the back. I don't give a fuck.
Kitty's flights to London, with that first class thing where like you get your own bed and everything. That's like $4 or $5 grand or something. They're crazy.
That's not that long of a flight, right? A couple hours.
I don't know. I don't know how long it is. 6 hours maybe. I don't know.
I think it's like 4 hours for us.
I honestly don't know.
Oh, because I was going to say it was like 9 hours, but I think we stopped in New York or something.
You might fly straight up and then around. I don't know.
It could be. We went to Barcelona too, which is not exactly the same place.
I held in a shit for almost the entire flight from Hawaii to Phoenix. And then we almost missed the flight from Phoenix to St. Louis. So I held it again because I'm not shitting on a plane. It is.
You gotta get over it.
Nothing already. My number one worst feeling is being in the car or anywhere where I can't shit and knowing like I have to poop, because part of knowing that I couldn't immediately go and find a bathroom makes my body be like, oh, well, what if it was an emergency? Now this cauldron is creating an emergency, and oh my God, it was white knuckling sitting. First of all, we were in coach and it was one of those enormous air buses. And so it was 4 people to my right and 3 people to my left, and I'm just white knuckling it. Of course, my dad, when we're getting on there, is like, I'm like, Dad, should we all sit together? And he's like, oh, we just finished up vacation, son, so I don't want to be fucking anywhere near any of you. I'm gonna go sit by myself. You white knuckle and hold your shit in for the next 13 hours, and you better just be resigned.
Dude, I would get over that somewhere. Yeah, I would shit somewhere. Like I'll hold it in for 2 or 3 hours on a plane. But if it was like, there's a point where I'm doing the math in my head and it's like, there's going to be a public shit. It's coming. And there's a point where I'll shit outside. I mean, we all get there. You just got, there's just a point where you're like, yep, it's an outdoor shit. It's an outdoor shit.
So I have the opposite problem. I'm gonna take my time. I'm gonna take my time wherever I go. So it's like, when am I gonna have an hour?
An hour.
You're gonna blow an O-ring, Joe. That's not good.
See, you gotta stop eating so much.
Burgers. That is my problem. I eat too much food.
The flights were ridiculous for me to get there. So I flew from Atlanta to Boston, spent a night in Boston, and then the idea was to fly from Boston all the way to Killington, I think.
Yeah.
But and we went in this very small plane. I was the co-pilot, literally. Like I was sitting in the co-pilot seat. I was holding the flight log, and he was like, "Hold it right there," so I could see it. And I was like, "Holy shit!" Like this guy's for real. The luggage in the wings. He asked me how much I weighed before I took that seat. I was the heaviest on the flight, and like he arranged the rest of the passengers by weight. You know, he wanted the weight up front, and you know the little people were in the back. We hit an ice storm flying into Killington, and it was so bad that it was like something out of the movies, the amount of shit that was coming at the windshield of this plane. We were using instruments only, and we were gaining and losing like 30 to 50 feet of altitude in as little as a second. It was like, woo, 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 woo. It was so much so that I had to take my left hand and reach under my seat and hold it and like pull up like I was riding a horse. Like I was literally like riding my seat like a fucking cowboy. And like I honestly was loving it. I was laughing. I was like hooting and hollering. Like me and the pilot were having a good time. I was like, this is crazy. I was like, does this ever happen? I was like, is this rare? He's like, this is some real shit, man. This is some real shit, man. He's like, and I hear them yelling in the back about something. I turn around, and Kitty's cousin, JJ, he looks green. I look, and apparently he has to piss so bad that he needs a bag. He's got to piss in a bag, and he needs another bag to vomit in because he's definitely going to vomit. So he's back there vomiting in one bag and pissing in another in this close quarters with these strangers. And it's just, I'm up front just laughing my ass off, having the best time ever. And he tries to come in, and the turbulence gets so bad that the wings are twerking. They're doing stuff, like they're bending and shaking, and I can see them because, like, I mean, I'm literally the co-pilot. When I look out, the wing is right there, and every time it flexes or bends or torques, I see it, and it's doing it a lot more than you would think. And the guy finally is like, nah, we can't take it down. We got to pull up. We got to go back to, like, somewhere else. Like, we circled the airport for, like, 10 minutes. We couldn't take it much longer, so he landed us, like, 3 fucking hours drive away in, like, Burlington, Vermont or some shit. We had to call a limo service to drive us to the place from there. And,
that must have been horrible.
It was the worst. It was $350 limo ride. It was better than, you know.
Was it
nice
a limo or was it a van they called a limo?
It was actually like a nice
Chuck's limo service.
It was a nice Chevy SUV, like a Tahoe.
Okay, yeah,
like not
nice.
the biggest one, but like you know.
That trip, so the flight that you took that was all bumpy, for me, it just never took off. They canceled it. So I rented that like Toyota Yaris or something and drove from Boston to Killington through the snow, and it didn't work. And I got there.
What was it? An Echo? Was that what you had? A Toyota Echo?
It might have been. I don't know my tiny Toyotas that well. It was smaller than a Corolla.
Let me do a search real quick. I think it was a Toyota Echo.
I'm gonna search for Yaris.
All right, so I'll give you my link.
Yeah, and I'll give you mine.
It was sort of a blizzard. Like I got no snow experience whatsoever. I had seen I think 5 inches before maybe. And
it could have been either of these, right?
Yeah.
So this is an Echo.
The front of yours looks more. I think this may have been it.
I think it might have been the Yaris.
It was a very tiny shitty car, and it was like a blizzard on top of this mountain. And Woody is late. Everyone's late. Actually, Epic Mealtime hasn't made it yet. Woody hasn't made it yet. And I'm the one who had to take the 3.5-hour cab ride in. So it's just like, what the fuck's happening here? And then here comes Woody in this piece of shit car up this like hill. And the tires are spinning at about 50 miles an hour. And the car is moving at about 20 miles an hour.
Dude, there were parts where you could have walked faster. I
did.
Yeah, it was so bad. It couldn't do anything. Like it couldn't even get around the parking lot at the ski lodge and stuff. It was. Yeah. It was.
I decided that we raced. We raced in a circle around the lodge to try to find you some parking, and I was just as fast on foot as this car was in the ice and snow. It was unacceptable.
It was awful.
Oh, what works in war? Everyone tells me I'm wrong, but I'm like, I don't think it's about tanks anymore. I feel like $6 million tanks are getting beaten by $50,000 javelins all the time. And unless you're America rich, a war of attrition where 50,000 and 6 million are somehow even is a problem. And this drone stuff Kyle talked about, man, why are there still people in planes? It really limits what the plane can do. Like the amount
that does seem like
acrobatic.
Now, right?
You know how much space and money and like other bullshit we have to put into a plane for the human to do well in it? If you take the human out and make it all remote controlled, it seems like that's a better plane.
Well, if they jam the controls, though, there's all sorts of like jamming stuff. You know, you need a wire connecting you and the plane. I did see they were talking about we're in the 5th generation of fighters, I guess now, like the F-22, F-35.
Who's counting?
The military industrial complex. And so they were talking about
what did they know?
The Fs, it would seem.
They were talking about the proposed the idea for the 6th generation fighter, and when it was supposedly going to be coming out on the battlefield and everything. And that system is supposedly a plane with 3 to 5 smaller drone-like planes that accompany it in formation. And when I saw them like do an artist rendering, I was like, man, that looks like those like UFOs that everybody sees where you've got like 3 lights flying together doing stuff. Because they showed like, first of all, it looks a lot like the B-2 stealth bomber, you know, the big wing, but now make it a fighter plane. It looked pretty cool what they drew. Who knows how close it is to what it's going to be. But then it had like similar drones that were all like to the left and right and in the front. And I was like, I've always thought that whenever we see UFOs, unidentified flying objects, I guess, not necessarily aliens or green men, that I always figure it's some sort of military drone or aircraft or something. Because I remember in the 90s, we do. In the 90s, remember the triangular aircraft that everybody was seeing in the 90s? The X-Files even made a whole thing about it. Like that was the stealth fighter.
Feds, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember the plane that everyone was seeing in the 90s? That was the stealth fighter.
So one of the things that occurs to me about taking the pilot out of the plane, I know there's the whole like, can they jam it and get us to lose control of it? Maybe they can. What the fuck do I know? But
maybe jammers are real. Who knows?
Yeah. But pilots are expensive and time consuming to train, right? We all know what it costs to lose a plane. It's like $35 million. It's a big problem. You take the person out of it, and that $35 million plane can be equaled for $20 million, perhaps, because there's a lot of expense and shit that goes in there and keeping the pilot alive. Also, our pilots now are like fucking FPS players that have to stop playing after their first death, right? They're all noobs. Even the good ones are noobs. Imagine if you could respawn, be like, all right, you got me. Now I'm going to come back with drone number 2. I'm still trained. If anything, I've got a lesson learned in this thing. I think drones and like lightweight.
It'd be interesting to see if a drone can fight with a human being, though, right? In a fighter plane scenario, because that's what it's about.
Drones can routinely pull 18 Gs when they turn. You know, drones can stop on a dime. Humans can't do that. They get concussions and shit, blackouts.
Well, I mean, drones can, but now we're talking about a jet-powered drone that's the size of like a plane, right? That's carrying air-to-air missiles and stuff, and has to make decisions and has
based
to
on
track a target.
Oh, I see. We're gonna AI in the drone.
Like, we're gonna go like, and you got to beat my ace up here, who's been flying his whole life and studying like military games with your robot that's on its own.
Oh, I disagree. No. I'm at home.
I've been cheesing Halo for so long. I know we got this.
I've been remote control. I'm an expert. I've died 6 times already. I'm a veteran.
You want to remote control this thing?
Yeah.
Input lag is crazy. You wouldn't put up with lag in Call of Duty.
But I'm shooting missiles that are auto-guided. Like the lag is crazy. I hear you, but how bad is it?
It's probably a terrible ping. Like
why?
Like multiple seconds, right? Or
frame rate issues, you know.
I'm fucking tired of skill-based matchmaking.
Well, I also think that if that were the answer, I think the United States does whatever's like the meta, right? Like I think our
I don't
stuff's 2
know.
steps
I feel
ahead
like
of
America
everyone.
does a fair amount of like just listening to the Air Force and what they want. Like it. Fuck, the reason our planes are black instead of pastel is because it's cooler.
We figured out the best color.
We're not going to make pastel planes, okay?
They're more stealthy.
We're not the pussy force.
They're
Have you seen those planes?
We want them to see us coming at some point. They need to know.
Have you seen the boats they make with the angular paint patterns to like make it hard to know how far away the boat is?
I have seen that. I don't know if it works.
Bar none I don't know if it works either, but it is the coolest looking sort of camo we have on anything. Those striped boat camos.
That zigzag they did in World War II. Yeah.
That's super neat. Well, actually, no, second place. First place, long shot. Those like demon mouths they put on planes. World War II. Nothing comes close to that.
All right, Taylor, you're gonna have to back off because I like the chicks with the skirts blowing up on the planes.
Those were bombers.
There's room on those for everyone. You got a heart that says "Mom" with an arrow through it. You got a bunch of Sailor Jerry looking tattoos, and then a big, scary, bloody mouth. No,
I do love stuff about that, like around that paint. I do love stuff like that about old warfare. Like before we had strategy and everything, it's like put a mouth on it, make it mean looking.
I do that.
Like
how are we going to scare those Japanese?
On our missiles and shit. Like I like that.
Yeah,
I like. What do they hate?
I love that.
Fanged animals. Trust me, I'm very familiar with their culture.
The German fears the tiger.
We kind of got off the gaming thing. Sidebarred it anyway. I heard I was playing some games last night, and somebody was like, "Woody's visiting the prison you were at, Kyle," and I'm like. I'm like, he flew over. They're like, no, he landed.
We were trying to rescue Snow.
It's a rescue mission. They're getting Snow.
Okay. So would you free cam it and go around the prison?
Well, we didn't. We did manage to successfully land. We didn't take off successfully, so poor Snow's done. But
and you, and now you're locked up with him.
Yeah.
But the chat had these ideas on where they wanted to go. So I'm dressed up in my like Amelia Earhart hat and goggles and the scarf and shit. And we're going from place to place. So it's like, where do you want to go? Find the closest airport to Mount Everest. You launch and you get there. And we went to my house. We went to Mount Everest. We went to the pyramids. And one of the places.
Did you go to Epstein's Island?
We went to Epstein's Island. Yeah. We went to Conway and did a flyby of both Wendy's. and
an eventful stream.
But they wanted to see Talladega Federal Penitentiary. They were really into that. And it turns out it has a really big, like, grassy area with no trees that we could land in. So we checked that out. That was one of the more successful locations because it looked good. Epstein's Island. Doesn't it have a house with like a gold roof or something?
Yeah, it's got like a temple on there.
No, it's sad. Like that. I realized when I flew over, and I'm sure you did when you flew over. Okay. Yeah. I'm sure you realized it when you tried to go to your house, or if you did that. But like, they basically there's a house there, great, and then they have AI generate what the AI would assume a building would look like. So like my house from where I grew up has like the garage, like a garage door, a door on the back side, and then another garage on the front. Like it's just AI generated.
My house in Microsoft Flight Simulator is fucking awesome. It looks like my house.
Wait, really?
Dude, it's really good.
What the fuck? I feel like I got maybe because mine had a bunch of tree cover or something.
I think it has to do with the density. So my observation is this: we'll see if it changes with more. If the building kind of stands alone, the modeling is really good. If it's one of many buildings in a neighborhood, they just kind of genericize all.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
So like the prison actually had a bunch of standalone buildings, and they're not normal shapes. They're not like cookie cutter houses. They're I can't even describe it. Circles with like moon crescents coming off the side from the air, and it did all of them really well. That prison looked just like it did in Google Maps.
That game is fantastic. I've never I had one of the most fun streams I've ever had. Just I got a bunch of those little mini vodkas because they sell them at the grocery store for some reason, and just got shithoused and started talking to ATC and like trying to fly around. I flew into the hurricane, which you can do with the live weather off of Mexico. Like I was not expecting to enjoy it as much as I did. The only downside is there's no time skip. Like
there is.
That's not the only downside.
No, there's time.
My friend was trying to 9/11 the Freedom Tower.
Oh my god!
And they've got a big protective bubble around that thing. What a bunch of cowards!
That's fascism.
I'd have programmed him.
The original Microsoft Flight Sim advertises you can fly into the World Trade Centers. Look it up. 1998 flight sim, the commercial or the like intro video. He's like, maybe we'll fly into the Twin Towers.
That's it. I'm taking it old school. Let me
try and find it.
I'm going with the 98 version. You know, there's some purist out there who's like, was so excited, then tries to fly it in there. He's like, this sucks. Back to 98.
Yeah, they're Patreons, Taylor.
Like every time a new Call of Duty comes out, and you're just like, you know what? I'm just going back to COD 4. It's the purist in me. That's how they are. They just really want to take out fucking. You know, I've been trying to hit the White House for the last 20 games, and they won't let me. Going back to 98.
Yeah, I'm gonna finish the job on the Pentagon. Is what one of them.
Okay, let's go to the poor Jordanian pilot. I'll link you up to that. Did anyone else?
I haven't seen the footage of it. No, how long is the video?
All right, so the video is long and it's well edited and it has CGI and graphics and all that stuff. But about halfway into it, after they're done with their propaganda, they burn this guy alive and they've got him in a big, tall iron cage, maybe 8 feet tall. Maybe like an 8-foot cube, maybe 10-foot cube. It's
I want to see
big.
the actual burning. That can't be too long, right?
He burns for no, it's not that long. I don't want to.
I really don't want to watch.
I don't think I want to watch that either.
Oh my
God!
I don't want to watch.
This is an all-guy podcast until just now.
I watched it. It was quite bad, and I watched it with no.
I'll
audio.
watch it, but I don't.
You guys just make me want to see it even more. Let's get a reaction video going.
Just sad. Like, just looking at this picture on the front, like you can see the 3 militants holding the guy. He's naked with his shirt there. Like, he's got to be.
That's
like, just looking at someone like that.
He looks really scared.
He looks like, just looking at someone like that. Can't you put yourself there, thinking like, maybe it's gonna work out. Maybe I'll get to see my family again. Like, maybe I'm the person. Like, that's so fucking sad.
If you scroll down, you can see him kind of engulfed by the fire.
Whoa! Yeah. Do you have a video of it?
Fox News is streaming the video from their website right now.
Why do I feel like it's going to be a weak sauce version of the video?
It is not a weak sauce version. That's what I watched it. It was quite horrible. I mean, it's bad. Let me find it. I'm working on it. I didn't think anybody would want to see it. It was terrible. I watched it.
What we do for this show.
I mean, if we're gonna watch it, I'll watch it. But this is just that picture looks awful.
That picture
it is awful.
It says, warning, this is the least horrifying image.
Yeah, that's someone burning alive. That's the start of the last 9 seconds of someone's life.
It takes a lot longer than that for him to die.
You asphyxiate very quickly because the fire takes up every bit of oxygen around your face.
You know, I had heard the same thing, and then I watched this guy burn alive, and it took a long time.
Oh, Jesus. Well, I hoped that was true.
It's not true. He burns for at least 30 seconds.
Kyle.
Is it? Kyle, did you find it? It's not the horrific murder of hostage wasn't a miscalculation video,
Jordan
is it?
is taking the
You're looking for the
ISIS
Jordanian pilot burning. I'm trying to find it. I watched it on my phone, so I don't have a Jordanian pilot video.
I misspelled 2 out of 3 words in Jordanian pilot burning.
Swing and a miss. Oh God, it's so horrible.
I think I'm gonna find it.
I got it. I'm gonna see if there's a way to direct link you without. Here, I'll just send you.
I think I have
the page.
I'm just trying to pause it.
All right, there it is. Now, if you actually want to get to the part where they burn this poor guy, because there's a lot of bullshit.
Oh, I see. This is a 22-minute video, so we need to.
It's somewhere in like the halfway point, I think. I felt like it was.
Yeah, just tell us what time after you find it, and we'll fast forward it to there.
I'm clicking around.
I'm trying to help you find it.
Oh man, this is rough. So it's past 15 minutes, if that helps. Jesus, all these close-ups of his face.
Yeah, so I haven't found anything interesting yet. Let's look.
Well, you're looking for 1 minute of footage.
Video is it? There's like 3 videos on this page.
Use my link.
17. Yes, go to 1727. That's it.
Really? All right, then I'll have to use your link. Let me see. You're on that Shoebat website?
Yes, shoebat.com.
Yeah.
And
Is it the video right above the 1 minute and 32 second video in the Arabic?
yeah, it's the 22 minute and 34 second long video. You want to go to like 17 minutes and 30 seconds in, and that's when they start their build up. Oh, it's really awful. I'm not going to watch it.
Can you give that timestamp again? 17
minutes and 30 seconds. That'll get it started off.
Hey, if we have to watch this again, you have to watch it again.
So at 17:30, I'm looking at a guy's shoes and what looks like a torch.
Yeah, exactly.
He goes up at 18:20.
All right, are you guys ready? Are we all queued up at 17:30?
Yeah.
Yes, I am.
Joe?
Almost. Hold on.
Poor guy.
All right, I'm queued up at 17:30.
All right, ready, set, play.
And just the horror. So keep in mind what we're seeing has been edited, and a lot of those guys that are standing over there aren't like this guy. He's not necessarily there. I feel like there's a lot of editing going on here and like green screening and bullshit. They're trying to hide where this happened and how it happened.
So
I feel
there's
like.
an orange guy in a small iron cage, and then there's a handful of militants with like a hood on. Only their eyes are showing, and they've lit a torch, and it looks like there's a line of powder that leads toward the cage.
Gasoline.
Gasoline. Okay, it looks like a powder to me. I'll look at it again. Yeah, it might be hay-soaked gasoline or something.
Oh man.
I'm getting a little speechless. So they're showing the flame go toward him in slow-mo.
Oh my god.
Oh
god.
Wow. So he's on fire. He's grabbing his face and he's kind of dancing. Like in
I wouldn't call it dancing.
What would you call it?
Flailing. Crying. Yeah, he's holding his face.
He's holding his face. He's kind of hunkered down. His whole body is flaming. It's as if they must have doused him in gas.
They did.
Because he's not standing in flames. He's on fire.
He's fully engulfed. He's on his knees now. He's still alive, I think. He's melting.
He's dead.
I think he's gone now.
He's melting.
Yeah. What is that hanging from his chin chest area?
It's flesh. He's melting. And part of his shirt left over. His nose melted off.
Now, this is edited. It looked to me like his death was under 20 seconds, 30 seconds. Now they've dumped a pile of rocks on him, like to put the fire out with a big bulldozer or something.
And yeah, and they're smushing him with the bucket, dragging it backwards.
Yeah.
That was horrible.
That is awful. That is fucking awful.
Yeah.
I wonder if people in the Middle East are slightly more desensitized to this.
No, they showed that before, like a crowd of cheering people. I was reading a post about that earlier. It's ridiculous.
A crowd of cheering people cheered at someone burning alive like that. That's fucked up. Fuck every one of those people.
That was really awful.
Because like in America, we'll see someone get shot, and it's kind of like, yeah, I've seen a million of those before. I'll even see an explosion and not think too much of it. But burning to death is not in my... Like, I'm not desensitized to that.
It's because shooting someone to death, it's like it's over immediately. Not to excuse it, but you're not putting them through anything more awful than need be to kill them.
Yeah.
Burning someone alive is just... It's needless savagery for the sake of intimidation.
That was pretty horrible.
It hasn't worked.
I've had a video idea for a long time that I call the Flaming Marksman, in which you put me in a burn suit and set me on fire till I'm fully engulfed, and then I have to shoot like a set number of targets before they'll put me out. And we priced it one time. Apparently, it cost like $5,000 to get the like professional Hollywood crew to come set you on fire and everything. So we're just looking.
Put you out with a half like the video.
Yeah, they'll put you out like like you see in like the Hollywood movies. Like a couple guys would run over with the extinguishers and put you out immediately, and you'd have the full like the gel all over your skin and the multi-layered burn suit and stuff. but it's expensive. It's like $5 or $6 grand to get those people to come out.
Right. That would be my holdup as well.
Has any
the
headway
$5 grand is
made at all?
What's that?
Has any headway been made at all? Like, I haven't been following, but into the whole ISIS thing, like, have any big attacks been made, or are they crippled, or anything?
Yeah,
It seems like they're bombing them every day.
Every so often there's a battle won against them. You know, I don't know how the war is going, but like, for example, this Jordanian pilot was burned, and then Jordan responded by bombing, was it 50 or 55? Like, they immediately
55.
got like scores of kills against them.
Was it the Jordanian president that was like quoting Clint Eastwood from The Unforgiven, and talking about that he was going to leave none of them alive and like kill them all until there was no more ammunition and all that crazy stuff?
Oh, I'm embarrassed that I don't know this, but ISIS had control of a key city in some country, and they were just driven out. It wasn't Jordan, was it?
No.
I'll find it.
It would be Syria or Iraq. That's what it's Islamic States of Syria.
It was Syria, and the Kurds drove them out of Kobane, which, you know, like most Americans, I learned geography by war, and I didn't really know Kobane, but apparently it's a key place in Syria, and ISIS just lost it. So it appears that ISIS is on the decline, but not so decline that they're not doing horrific stuff and posting it on the internet. I have a thing that I'm excited about. So I sometimes make these paramotor videos, and in this little world, people know me. There's a guy whose job is to fly helicopters, and he's going to land in my front yard tomorrow and take me to lunch by helicopter.
Nice.
How cool is that?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Where are you going to lunch?
I didn't ask. I don't know, like, which restaurants have helicopter parking. Maybe Cracker Barrel? Like, I'm not sure.
I'm actually curious. You can find out when you go. When you're near the helicopter, because those blades are going faster, they're whipping up everything. Is your cape going to get sucked into the rotors? Do they give you weights to put on the bottom? So it drags behind you?
They give you weights like a shower curtain. Those are my tactical cape weights. Don't touch them. Those are from Sky Mall. Yeah, those are $45 a piece. I'm broke. Yeah.
Like, I've got these dumbass thoughts in my head. Like, you know, I don't know what his helicopter looks like, so I hope I get in the right one. It could.
Wait, how many helicopters are landing in whatever area you're going to?
Right,
You just walk around.
Definitely, just get in the first one that lands. It'll work out.
What if
fine.
he lands and it's like a Ford Pinto version of a helicopter? Are you going to be upset?
I think the helicopter has something to do with agriculture. Maybe let me see.
A crop dusting helicopter.
Is he gonna have like that scaffolding back in?
He sprays power lines with it, so it can't be too small, I guess. And I don't know why you spray power lines. Like, you make them clean or coat them with gel. I don't know.
Refills their electricity.
Oh, all right, now I know.
What are you using it to enslave the American people?
So
that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
I don't know why you spray power lines, but that's the kind of helicopter it is.
Okay, so my thoughts ran a little bit. So my first question is going to be: is this rated to fly? Well, my first question is: do you need a different license to like fly in a city versus flying over crops? I imagine you must. And then my second, right? Like, you can't if you can fly a helicopter like on a farm. There's no way you could just fly it around through a city, right? There must be some ordinance
you're
or
off
some
target on that.
No,
you think you can?
In planes? Yeah, in planes you can fly anywhere. I don't know. I imagine the helicopter license is similar, but yeah.
So if you have a helicopter, you can just fly around buildings and shit. You're cool to fucking go wherever.
So there's like imagine like a wedding cake upside down over cities. There is areas that the FAA will not let you fly in at a certain size unless you requested it in advance. And if you do, they will send somebody to find you wherever you land. You can ask in advance, but like in LA, they're not going to let you fly around downtown Los Angeles for any reason. They'll just tell you.
Okay.
It's not a grade of license, so it's usually a size of craft and what you're doing with it.
But if you like, as a joke, maybe you and your friends got helipads in your little suburban houses. You could just fly a helicopter from one friend's house to the next. No
People do
problem.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, holy shit. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, my follow-up question was going to be, if you're flying helicopters around in areas you're not supposed to, who do they send after you?
Everybody.
The police helicopter,
Like,
right?
is it the police helicopter that comes after you? Because it wouldn't be like, they wouldn't fly planes after you, would they? Would it just be, do they just follow you until you run out of gas, or do they try to shoot you
they'll
down?
meet you wherever you land.
They shoot you down over an urban area. Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll track you the whole way through, and they'll meet you wherever you land if you decide to start fucking around.
I had police waiting for me once.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
In my paramotor. Yeah, they someone had called in and said terrorists were dropping packages. And so when we got to land, the policeman was at the airport, like, waiting for us. And I was like, well, I promise you, like, we didn't drop anything. Like, that's not a
What an asshole that person is.
And he's like, no, you were the packages. Like, clearly you're not, but that's what they thought. They thought that us flying around with our little paragliders was terrorists dropping packages.
Man, let's hope that ISIS never gets that advanced. They fly paramotors into big buildings and just end up dying.
Well, after all the school shooter plannings, that went on in this episode, they might not be too far off the mark. You could be some kind of sleeper fucking ISIS agent or some shit, inspiring the next generation of terrorists.
I'm going to take that as a compliment that you like my plans.
That's exactly what this show is all about. It's an undercover ISIS op. I know lots of things about Islam. Muhammad's the main guy. They do not care for pork. And there's an aisle in every grocery store where Jewish and Islamic people, Muslim people. See, I know what they're called. That's how much I know. Yeah. I don't ever want to learn to fly. Seems hard and scary. I know you can, Dick.
Yeah, it's fun. It keeps you occupied. It will
worst financial decision you'll ever make.
Yes.
Behind a boat, probably.
So stop doing it.
You think planes are behind boats? Oh, sweet summer child.
I'm far and away the poorest person on the show.
No, I think planes are a worse financial decision than boat. But I guess there's sky's the limit with either one of them.
Wait, I'm super curious about that. So, like, let's say that I wanted whatever the fuck a small helicopter would be. I don't know what the name would be, but it's just like a mosquito to like fly around and have fun in. Like, what is like your upfront investment for this type of thing? Assuming you have the license and everything, and then like, what's your year-to-year maintenance on something like this? Are we like in the tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars, or what are we at?
Shucks, one of the guys I worked with had a helicopter, and I want to say he bought his helicopter used, and it was a little less expensive, like 60 or 75 grand. And then after a year or two, it was grounded because it needed a $30,000 annual like maintenance or something.
Yeah, fuck that. Okay, never mind.
Yeah,
I already lost interest.
Right? Like you have to have real disposable cash to pretty much buy a new car every year.
2 or 3 roofs, I think. $30,000. Okay, on that one. All right.
Planes for sale near me.
You don't want to
Cessna 414A Chancellor is $25,000, and this is not that cool. Look, I guess that's pretty cool. Yeah.
The helicopter.
What can we talk about next to get him to Google something that'll get the FBI to show up, knowing that he just Googled planes for sale near me?
Yeah.
What's the next topic on the
show? Planes for sale.
Largest building in downtown Chicago. Do you know what that is? Can you look it up for us? I'm just curious.
Oh, the Sears Tower. Most vulnerable floor. Yeah, we just we know you're going to buy a Cessna. Man, this is actually not as much as I thought it would be.
Well,
$25,000 for a plane.
I'm pretty sure if you buy a $25,000 plane, your next step is to put $20,000 in maintenance into it. Dick, does that sound rightish?
I knew a guy who, it depends on the plane. I knew a guy who built one while I was doing it, and it cost him like $4,000. It looked like a death trap. Like it looked like
it was a plane. Did it have like? Was the inside separate from the outside?
It looked like a submarine that you'd use to smuggle drugs. Like it was like a giant cigar that was it. Room for one guy. He was he had his stunt pilot's license though, or whatever they called that. So he was a bit of a daredevil.
Do you know what the kit was called?
No, I do not.
I can't imagine a $4,000 plane.
I get aggravated putting together chairs from IKEA. I can't imagine being smart enough to put together a whole or just being dedicated enough, I guess. It's just following the instructions, like, and also knowing how to fly.
If I was semi-suicidal and didn't have a kid, the one investment that looks like the most dollars per fun you could get for some crazy awesome shit is definitely a fucking motorcycle.
I knew you were going to say that, and I think you're right.
When I looked at some of those real fast bikes, I'm like, man, what is it, like 50,000, 60,000? Like $5,000 or $10,000 gets you a really fucking nice bike. It's really fucking way faster than any fucking shit you can get in a car. Oh my god, that.
Have you ever driven a motorcycle? Like done
no. That? I mean, I could drive like a manual car. I could drive a bike. So I'm sure if I connect the two, I could probably figure it out. But yeah, I'm so scared of I know so many people that like have been in motorcycle accidents, and goddamn, you're like inches from death every time you're on the road. And
we have someone in our patron chat. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, who lost use of his arm forever because of that.
And he still has the arm?
He still has the arm.
That would be even worse.
Yeah, he still has it.
With
it's
this
in
tentacle on your body.
Well, it's in a sling. He's not just letting it, fly. But yeah, he like some old biddy pulled up into an intersection as he was screaming down the road, or I guess going the speed limit. I don't fucking know. Better story if it's screaming down the road. And she was the one running the red light. Like he had a full green, and he collided, went into their car, like through the window, like in the passenger side, and just got his arm fucked up. And so that sucks. But I agree with you, Dick. If I lose function in my arm, I want him to just nip that in the bud. Just get it off. It'll make me feel better because I won't be as fat as I am right now. Like,
there you go. It's weight loss. Yeah, 170. I'm back to my college weight. Awesome.
Just looking at a terrible
arm. You could lay with your wife or girlfriend without your arm falling asleep anymore. That'd be nice.
I used to go off-roading all the time with a guy who got in a motorcycle accident, and I can't fully visualize the nature of it, but someone was making a left-hand turn in front of him. He smashed into like the front tire from the side. And here's where I get a little lost. He says he flew through the air in like the sitting position and then just sort of glided across the air and landed and hit the asphalt while seated. So he was mostly paralyzed. When I saw him was years later, and he could walk, but it was a shitty walk. Like he had 2 canes, but not like cool canes, like the kind that go around your wrist. And when he walked, it was almost like Timmy from South Park, where he put a lot of energy on those canes. Like you could tell they were doing half the work.
Jimmy, by the way.
Jimmy.
Oh, thank you, Jimmy.
Very ableist of you. Dude.
And also, he couldn't fuck. So he was pretty outgoing about that. His tongue worked fine. So, and his wife would be there.
Wait, I thought that it was like a totally different system working your dick than it is, because people who are paraplegic can get hard-ons.
Well, it probably depends on why you're paraplegic, right?
It'd be funny if he was like, no, I mean, my dick didn't get hard before the accident.
He's like, thank God.
Yeah.